All right, a very good morning, everyone, from the flight deck, and welcome to another Twitch stream here live with me, Captain Nabs. And left my volume check up there. Got me. Welcome to another live stream, everybody. And it's only been a week since we did our last stream because for those of you that joined me last week, I haven't even had a chance to post a video on YouTube. I'm probably going to post it hopefully the next day or so. But last week, it didn't go so well. We had a issue, which I have since discovered was not actually a problem with the operation, but is actually a known Fenix bug that I had never encountered before. But apparently it is a known Fenix bug. So we got everything ready for our flight last week and pushed back off the gate. And as soon as we started the engines, as soon as I started engine 1, the IDG temperature in number 1 just started skyrocketing. It just went up and up and up, and only shutting off the IDG would even stop it from going any higher. And it looks like there's traffic around, so I'm just going to select a different frequency for the moment until we have a chance to actually start flying. So I started engine 2, and the same thing happened. So I thought initially that it was something to do with the fact that that it was snowing last week, and so I thought maybe it was because there was ice in the engine intakes, and that was what had actually caused the overheat. But then actually I went and did a little bit of further digging after I finished the stream and found out that it is a known recurring issue on the Fenix that Fenix hasn't been able to solve. There's not a whole lot of big bugs in the Fenix, but this is apparently one, and it's just not, I've never encountered it before. I've flown this airplane for, 3-4 years? Never encountered it before until today, and now all of a sudden, here I am encountering this thing. So, yeah, not the end of the world. It was just very annoying. So we ended up having to go back to the gate, and the only way to get it to reset is just to reload the aircraft again. Once it happens, the aircraft is hooped until you reload it. Reloading it was just not in the cards last week. After you've taken 45 minutes to prep for departure, I could not restart the flight and spend another 45 minutes prepping for departure and do the flight. Just simply was not possible. Didn't have enough time. So we're back this week to try and finish off that flight. So what is the flight, you're asking? Well, first of all, I will put myself up there. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the stream. And then I will put this over here. So again, same as last week, what we're going to try to do today is flight 691. We are going from Copenhagen to Rome, Leonardo da Vinci Fiumicino Airport in Rome. So it's a good 2.5 hour flight. So we definitely want to get this project underway here shortly. And it is kind of getting a little noisier out here now at this airport. Surprise, surprise, a noisy airport. I mean, what did you really expect? So I think what we'll do is we'll just hop in the flight deck just to sort of mitigate some of that noise. You don't have to listen to it because it sounds like somebody's taxiing around right behind us. So let's hop in the flight deck where it's definitely much quieter. And already I'm getting... hold on a second here. I know what I have to do. I was having some issues with my camera earlier. I still am. Why is that happening? Lousy camera. Just a little bit of reflectivity on my head, and I even got rid of it. See, I turned on some other lights today. I think that's probably the problem. I turned on some other lights because my camera, when I first started it up, was really dark. I reset it, and it seems to be much better now, but I didn't turn off the other lights. So hopefully this will be reasonable anyways. I won't be have a transparent forehead by halfway through this flight because that looks pretty transparent right there. Yeah, so that's what we're up against today. Let's see if we can get this plane to get off the gate in an orderly fashion. That being said, today we're going to throw a flight plan out here with a couple of interesting things in here because I decided to play along from last week. So when we had the IDG fail, we had both IDGs fail. So I decided to carry forward with that. So we now have an MEL today on our aircraft. It's 242201 Alpha, IDG number 1 unserviceable. So if I pull up my MEL document really quickly here, we can have a real quick review of it before we leave, and then we got to do some procedures before we leave. I feel like I've done this one before. I feel like I've definitely done this one before, but I would like to do it again. I just thought it was kind of a nice way to kind of honor what happened last week and carry it forward and make it have an impact down the road. So looks like they fixed one IDG, but the other IDG is not working. So number one is not working. So we've got MEL 242201 Alpha with a repair interval of C. That means they get 10 days to fix it. 2 installed, 1 required. So we have 2 generators installed. We can have one of them be offline. And rules for this include ETOPS not conducted, flight altitude limited to 33,500. So on this flight plan, I did have to force a limitation of 330 on it. APU and AC auxiliary generation are operative and used throughout the flight, so we have to have the APU on the whole time, running and with electrical power supplied to half the buses. APU fuel pump is operative. APU oil quantity is checked to be adequate before each flight. That's a maintenance function. There's no way to do it in the flight deck. Somebody has to actually go back in there into the hellhole in the back and actually look and make sure that the oil quantity is sufficient. All buses have power. The indications alerts for the remaining main generation and AC auxiliary generation are operative, and the galley automatic load system is checked operative. So those are all the conditions we have to be able to run this flight today with that one generator offline. We can do that. As far as we know, the APU is fully working. In this case, a mechanic would come and check it and say, yep, there is the required amount of oil in there, so you don't need to worry about that. And then we would skip ahead to the operational procedures and just review them before we get started here so we know what we're doing. 242201 Alpha, so max landing capability will be Cat 3 single. APU consumption with the APU generator push button switch on. So we have to run the APU for the whole flight at 30 to 33,000 feet. That's going to be about somewhere around 50 kilograms an hour, 54 to 49. So for this 2-hour and something flight here, what have we got for airtime here? We got 2 hours and 16 minutes. Our dispatcher's given us 150 kilos of APU fuel, so that's almost 3 hours worth of APU fuel burn. Note when the external power is disconnected, the IFE is lost. In-flight entertainment is lost until the APU supplies electrical network. During cockpit preparation, check with the galley automatic load shed system. So as part of our cockpit preparation, we'd have to go do this. I don't think we can actually simulate this on the Fenix, because basically we have to go and check that something works in the galley. So we'd have to pull the circuit breaker, make sure that things do not work in the galley when the circuit breaker's off. So make sure that basically the automatic trip does work. That can't be simulated in the Fenix, but we can simulate the other half of this. So before engine started, the IDG2 associated with the inoperative AC main generation has been disconnected. Check the disconnect message selected on the electric SD. So we're not actually doing that. We're just simulating that the generator faulted, but it's not been disconnected. So there was some fault with it. It doesn't work, but it's not it hasn't actually been disconnected. So that's fine. So we don't have to worry about that. So after engine start, we've got this small procedure we've got to do to make sure that the load shedding all happens automatically in case of any other more additional failures in the electrical system, in the electrical generation. So we'll run through this procedure, but we'll do it after start. So APU master push button switch has to be on. APU generator has to be on. We make sure both of the main generators are off. And then on the electrical SD page, check that all the AC buses will have power. Then we turn on the operative generator and turn off the APU. And again, make sure all the electrical buses all have power. So make sure the power switching between the operative generator and the APU happens all automatically, correctly, without us having to do anything. We have to verify that because we only have the 2 sources of electrical power. We need to know that if one of them fails again somewhere down the road, that the other one is going to automatically pick up all the load without causing an issue. Once we've done that, we put the APU generator back on and we fly with the operative generator and the APU generator switched on. So that's what we have to do after start when the engine generators are available, just to make sure all that load shedding works properly. Wow. Seems like a lot of work, and sometimes a simple MEL can add a lot of work, and that's why you want to limit how many MELs you have on an airplane. Typically, you don't want to be going with an infinite number. Let's start setting up. Let's start reacting to me. Let's start setting up.
Roger.
There. I obviously said it way too quickly. All right, so he's going to do some things. Get the batteries on. We'll get the IRSs aligning here. Oxygen's got to be on. Nav lights on. And then we do have to check the hydraulics, engine oil, and oxygen levels. So there's hydraulics. Everything's in the green arc on the reservoir. Engine oils, we got so much oil. And on the doors page, the oxygen is also good. All right, so that's all good. He's going to go out and do a walk around momentarily, and I don't think we have any ATC this morning. We had ATC last weekend, last week. We don't have it this morning, but so be it. There's the APU fire test. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to have to see if we can find some... kind of an other ATIS. All right, thank you. So I'm just going to see here, because I think I can find, I think ATIS Guru has Copenhagen ATISes. So here we go, live digital ATIS. Departure ATIS is from 3:33 Zulu on 3 days ago, so I haven't gotten that for a while. But this one, arrival ATIS, 13:05. This is an hour old anyways. This is not unreasonable. And it's from 11:50 actually, so it should give us a pretty good ballpark what to expect here. So expect ILS approach, runway and use 4 left, condition codes 555, all parts 100% wet, chemically treated, transition level 7000. After landing, expedite vacating runway, wind 050 at 16, visibility 5 kilometers, snow, and broken at 1,000 feet, temperature 0, dew point -1, QNH 986. So I can set that. That's going to be a little bit out of date because this is an hour or so old. Temporary visibility 4,000 meters, cloud broken 800 feet. Okay, so what I'm going to also do is just sort of correlate that to a current METAR in off of VATSIM here, 05015, 2500 light snow, broken 800, 0 degrees -1, Q985. All right, so 2,500 meters is actually not great, but it's not terrible. We are getting, looks like a little bit of light snow. Temperature's hovering right at 0, so I think we're going to have to do de-icing again. So before we do that, let me just do this. So while he's out for the walk around, we're just going to quickly go into the FMC and just start setting it up. So swap the database. It's good for another week. Let's see here. So we are SAS 691, and we are going from Copenhagen to Rome. Excellent. And then IRS initialization. And again, let's pick this up off the, verify this off the airport charts here. So Copenhagen, airport charts, parking stand coordinates. We're back to Charlie 34 again, right? Picking the airplane up where we left it last week. North 55, 37.5 by east 1238.9. So that looks like the GPS coordinates are correct, and that's what all three IRSs are aligning on. So that's good. Alignment's going to happen properly. And the other thing we can do as well while we're waiting for the IRS alignment, of course, is we can go in here and we can start getting some, crunching some numbers here. So actually the other thing we have to do is we do have to start boarding because it takes a little while usually to load the fuel. So let's go ahead and load some fuel and some passengers. I don't know what I clicked on there. GSX. What am I trying to do here? Okay, so what I'm trying to do here is I'm actually trying to do this. Takeoff performance. 4 right. We're going to call it a wet runway. So optimal flaps. It's 100% wet, so we don't need toga. We can do a flex takeoff. However, we will need the engine anti-ice because it is a wet runway. We will need the packs off for this departure because the runway is contaminated. So with chemical residue, we can't use a packs on departure. So we've got to do packs off. So that gave us 68.2. I'm going to round it up by 500 kilos because it just gives us a little margin if we're slightly over on fuel or anything. 68.7. And any good intersection departures should I plan on here? I think we did this last time. I think we'll plan the Bravo 3 intersection just for the purpose of the calculation, and we can always clear it if we get an even longer runway, and we can clear that shift and just use these numbers for a longer runway. These are valid for a short runway, so they'll be fine for a long runway. Okay, so there's that, and then finally, and we found this last week. All right, and so what we're going to do, last but not least, we're going to go to the FAA's holdover time guidelines. So first thing we need to do is go over to the back here and find the visibility table. Is it the back or is it the front? I know kind of what it looks like. I can scan through this fairly quickly. I thought it was at the back, but maybe it's at the front. And if I can't find it really quickly by scanning, then I'll just search for it in a second here. Okay, let's just search for visibility. Table 48 is what we're looking for, so. Table 49, aha! Table 48, that's what we're looking for apparently. Okay, snowfall intensities as a function of prevailing visibility. So again, what they're calling in METARs, whether it be light, moderate, or heavy snow in METARs, it doesn't necessarily apply to holdover times. Holdover times, we have to be a little bit more specific about what's going to be considered very light, moderate. So the same criteria, the criteria that weather reporting uses does not necessarily apply correctly to snowfall intensity. So instead, we're going to go with what we have here. So we have, what did I say in the METAR? We had 2,500 meters visibility. So that would be this column right here, from 2,200 to 2,600. And if the temperature is above -1 degree, it's still considered light snow. So it's a function of temperature and whether it's day or night, because day or night affects how you see the snow. It appears more heavy during the day when it's brighter.
No issues on the walk around.
So we need to use the light column here, and then we'll scan back here to Type 4 generic, which is in this document. I really should just download this document. Holdover times for, it's the first one of all the Type 4 holdover times. Generic holdover times for Type 4 fluids. So if we have light snow, so we had the yellow column, light snow, snow grains or snow pellets, we had light snow, temperature -3 and above, and assuming we have 100% 100% concentration, we're going to get between 1 hour and 1 hour and 55 minutes. So we got a lot of time to get to the runway, but we do have to work with that. Looks like we got some ATIS after all. I see Kastrup Tower just, or at Kastrup arrival actually just came online. So we can now get an ATIS from this guy. So, all right, so de-icing should not be a problem. We'll have lots of time. We will have to do it, but not, it won't be, we should be able to get it done. Shouldn't be a problem. EKCH. Departure, send. All right, we should have a preliminary load sheet. Not sure why I got 2 preliminary load sheets. I reloaded it, didn't I? I reloaded it. EKCH departure ATIS Alpha 1350. So for right, it is 555s. All parts 100% wet. It doesn't say anything about chemicals. We're going with packs off anyways for now. Transition level 7,000, 050 at 15. Visibility 2,500 meters, light snow broken at 800 feet. Temperature 0, 2 point -1, and QNH 985. First driver cast for paper and advise if unable to perform pushback to a release point state of DI if requesting de-icing. Yes, perfect. So we will be doing that. Good stuff. JQueen99, good morning. Sorry, I didn't see you there. Just trying to get everything going here. And it looks like we're just about ready here. We got 1 minute left till the IRS is aligning. We got 1 IRS is aligned. Looks like number 1 aligned. Because my moving map popped up and the left side is number 1 normally. And there it goes. We are ready. And I should just have this here. Come on. Haven't turned around for a little while. So there's people boarding. Yeah, it is boarding, so we'll keep that open. All right. And I think we're ready to get started. So we'll hit up that overhead flow. Starting in the top left here and moving forward. Everything should be lights out, lights out, lights out, lights out until we get to recorder. We turn on the recorder, test it by pressing the button, make sure we hear the tone. That means it is going to work for us. Audio switching is normal. We're going to say it's not first flight of the day today. Airplane's already flown, so we're not going to do all the first flight of the day tests. We are fueling, so we'll make sure all that stuff's off. Generator 1 is off. That's abnormal, but that's because of the MEL. It's been flicked off, so that's fine. External power is on. That's fine. Faults in generators and packs are fine during the pre-flight phase. That's in auto. No anti-ice is on right now. Landing elevation's auto. We got strobes in auto. I thought I turned on the nav lights, but apparently I did not. So that's why we do another flow here, just to make sure everything's happening the way it should. All right. We're still fueling, so the seatbelt sign is going to stay off for now, but no smoking and emergency lights are on. We've got the PA out on at least 12 o'clock volume, the number 3 system there for the sake of the CVR, so it echoes in the cockpit a little bit. The CVR can record it. Not first flight of the day. We're not going to do a compass check. I'm going to go ahead and get constraints on here. We're going to go ahead and put the VORs up. We got 100 dashes, 100 dashes. That's all good for the startup phase. And I realize I didn't set up the ACARS, but I'll set it up in a second here now. All right, no flags on the PFD, no flags on the ND. 985 is the altimeter. I didn't adjust the standby yet, but now I'm going to. All right, that's 985, perfect. That's aligned. We are refueling. No smoking signs on. Park brake, TCAS standby. That's all okay. It's on 11:42. As always, I did back the time up a little bit. That's not the actual current Zulu time for anyone watching this live on stream. I've backed it up as I always do. Question: is there a plan to do updated tutorials for E-Jets now that FSS updated the aircraft? Nav accuracy upgrade, GPS primary. There is no plan. I'll be honest, there is no plan. I hadn't even really crossed my radar. I stopped paying attention to it. I'll be honest, I stopped paying attention to the Embraer. I really liked it at first. I was happy to fly an Embraer, but it was so clunky, I just couldn't do it. If it's been improved substantially, I'd like to revisit it, but I just found it initially so clunky. The FMS was so poorly coded, like you could never change anything once you'd coded it, once you programmed it. I found I couldn't do anything with it, so... at the time, it was very frustrating to me. If it has been improved now, I could definitely consider revisiting it. I'm not 100% sure I would, but I could definitely consider it. I would like to share the information I had about that airplane. Now it's been several years since I've flown that airplane. It's you know, it's rapidly disappearing to the back of the head and quickly getting forgotten. But you know what? It's something I should definitely consider. The Airbus is... As much as I enjoy the Airbus, and I can share lots of information about the Airbus is also overdone. There's so much information about the Airbus. There's so many Airbus pilots out there. There's so much information about it. The Embraer is something that's definitely, like the Q, was very niche. Not a lot of people knew a lot about it. There was a lot of incorrect information about it. So I would like to. I might. I'm 17 makes J Queen 99 sad. So 175 dispatcher VNAV and custom FMS is now implemented. That'll probably make me come back and try it again because I just couldn't deal with it. I need sim aircraft to reach a certain threshold before I can really even wrap my head around. And I volunteered to be a tester, and I want to contribute, but I don't think I can. I need it to be realistic enough that. I can fly it. I can fly it the way you're supposed to fly it. And if I can't do that, if it doesn't have enough ability to respond to changes, especially, and be able to change things and have things, I couldn't deal with it. I was having a hard time dealing with it. I'll revisit it. I should definitely go fly that airplane again. Anyways, let's finish setting up because we're supposed to be out of here in 15 minutes, and then we'll talk about it more once we get underway. Okay, so we did all of that. So we're going to hop in the box again here, and we did not actually set up the... what am I doing here? Atsu. I forgot to actually initialize the flight here once it was all done, so let's go ahead and initialize it. And normally you can go do other things, but since this happens so quickly here, there it is. SAS 691, EKCH to LIRF. LIRN's the alternate 216 in the air. That all sounds very reasonable. The other thing we need to initialize is a secondary flight plan. And then we can get underway. We have no real NOTAMs for the departure today, so nothing really to think about there. AOC secondary flight plan uplink. All right, so EKCH to LIRF, Nexon, Gimru, Mikos, that all sounds familiar to the flight plan I was looking at earlier, and we will go through it in more depth, so we're going to activate that for now. Check takeoff data. We will, do not worry. All right, so now we can actually start with the whole box here. So, A320-200 with the V2527 Alpha 5 engines, the IAE engines. Database is current until the 18th of February and is performance factor of +0. I didn't see anything to detune in the NOTAM, so nothing is currently deselected. Initialization for SAS 691. I know I put this in once, and for some reason that's the one field that gets cleared. EKCH to LIRF, alternate LIRN. Cost index. Okay, so let's pull up this flight plan here. I'm going to have it just up here on the other screen where I can see what I'm doing while I'm still clicking on this screen here. So cost index is 39. Flight level is 330, and it's limited by the MEL. Average ISA -4, so 33 should be 66. Yeah, that's reasonable anyways. And a trope of 30,998. departing Kastrup. We're going to depart runway 4 right, and flight plan for now has it's the Nexon 2 Alpha to Nexon. So Nexon 2 Alpha as far as Nexon. No transitions listed, so I assume there's only one. And we can always scroll down a little bit and see that it did connect after Nexon to our flight plan. For the arrival into Rome, the current estimate is 16 left, and we'll have lots of chances to change this, so I don't know anything really here. I'm just going to put an ILS in for now. Like I said, we got 2 hours en route. We can definitely figure it out.
The security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Go for it.
Okay.
All right, right tab 4 Alpha was the departure I had in the flight plan, so I'm going to put that for now until ATC tells us something different. Sorry, that's the arrival, I should say. And yeah, so no step climbs today because we're stuck at 33 the whole way because of the MEL. And total distance of 927. Again, I'm looking at the flight plan. The ground distance is 931, 927. Very close, very reasonable. And we're going to go and check this whole thing here. So let's do it this way. I'm going to bring this up here. We're going to put this in plan mode just so we can kind of scroll through the whole thing and make sure it all matches. So we do have the Nexon 2 Alpha departure as far as Nexon. And then after Nexon on my flight, on my route here, I could even pull this over because I could just use my, here's my route right here. So Nexon 2 Alpha, I might just make this a little bigger to make it a little easier to see. That's probably good enough. Yeah, that's good. So after Nexon 2 Alpha, it's Tango 503 to Gimru, direct Mikos, direct Nebun, direct Mbox, direct Arkosi, M736 to Rudno, direct Simba, direct Mored, direct Pidep, direct Dipfo, direct Nikma, direct right tab, and that's where we join the arrival. You can see the whole arrival there. We'll look at that in more detail once we get going. So that all looks good. RadNav is, auto-tuning is fine for the departure today. Secondary, we'll put an immediate return onto runway 4 left. So just in case anything happens after departure, we can do a very quick return. Arrival ILS runway 4 left. No star required, just the ILS is all we need, the secondary. And that'll allow us to pull up the... what am I trying to say here? That'll allow us to pull up the ILS frequency really quick. We just have to activate the secondary. The ILS frequency is in. Let's see here. Secondary flight plan. All right. In NIT Bravo, taxi point 2 is very fine. Anything's going to be more than that with the icing. Route reserve is 0. Alternate flight plan again. Alternate is coming in at 1.5, final reserve 1.0. So 1.5, 1.0, and then we go to the number 2 over here. We go back to receive messages, load sheet, and preliminary estimates, 58.5, 31.8. So 58.5, 31.8, and block fuel should be done by now. Looks like it, 9.9. That sounds about right. I'll check it again on the flight plan here in a second. That's going to give us 68.2, and we calculated numbers for 68.7. So those numbers are going to be just fine. We'll send those to the NCDU now because we know they're going to be fine. And just again, recheck the flight plan. 9.9 was the requisite fuel. Looking good. All right. A wind component out of the flight plan for the check. So the average wind component, -10. And we're just going to check and make sure that this all sort of adds up. So it's going to recalculate here. 5.6, 220. I've got 5.8 for 216. So that's within reason. And then extra. So I've got 400, 400. That's 800 plus the contingency, 910, 1100. And then I had 200 more. So it's a little bit over on the extra. It's in the right kind of general ballpark, but it's a little bit over. So we'll go ahead and request the winds. GS exporting is already completed. Very good. About 10 minutes of departure. All right, blue, blue, blue. Wind data uplink. That's all good. Perf page. So again, takeoff runway 4 right, so we're looking for 500-meter shift, flaps 1, flexing 63, 35, 48, 49, 10, 20, 20, 20, 15, 20. So 35, 48, 49. That sounds like the speeds we had last week, too. All right, 500, flaps 1, flex of 63, 35, 48, 49, 5,000, 10, 10, 10, 10, 15, 10. That's good enough. 217. It's the green dot speed. So that all checks out. It's been inserted correctly. 217 for a noise 2 departure. And cruising today at 0.78. Prog page. Let's see here. So cruising at 33, that's MEL restricted. The optimal's up at 35. The max way up at 37.4. So not a problem in terms of altitude today. GPS is primary. Nav accuracy is high. The RMP is auto. 829 miles to Rome. And the IRSs are all navig with 0.0 bias. Hooray! All right, we got through that whole setup. That's all good. Let's go ahead and tune this in here and get ourselves a clearance. Castrop approach, good afternoon. Scandinavian 691 at gate Charlie 34 with information Alpha, clearance to Rome.
Hello, Scandinavian 691. We eclipsed the Rome via the Nexon to Alpha depart. Just walk 454.
And Scandinavian 691 cleared to Rome via the Nexon 2 Alpha departure, and it kind of cut out a little bit for the squawk. Was it 4545?
Scandinavian 691, Quebec, correct?
Perfect, thank you. And Scandinavian 691, we will be positive de-ice.
Copy. Lufthansa 1212, turn left heading 070.
All right, so 4545 on the squawk. There, that's in there. And positive de-ice. Okay, perfect. So we'll turn him back down again so it's not so distracting while we're doing the rest of our setup. So let's fire up that APU because we're going to get going here within the next 10 minutes. Ramp crew's going to start hassling us any second now, take away the external power. So APU is starting. We're going to check here and say fuel is boarded. So we got 9,900 as per the flight plan. It's balanced between both sides, nothing in the center tank. So pumps are on in the wing tank. Center tank pumps stay off with nothing in the center tanks, and the belts are on. Load. We should have
type Airbus 350. We are ready to copy clearance destination Boston, please. 97.
All right, turned him down enough that hopefully he's not a distraction on the audio there. So we do have the final load sheet, if I can zoom in enough here. There we are. 58.5 by 31.8. 58.5 by 31.8. So that did not change at all from the preliminary to the finals. That's good. Perfect. So that loads in. Logbook's already been checked, and ramp check's already done. Service check completed. Okay, so quick departure review. Let's just make sure that the SID is programmed correctly today for the... that's not right at all. Oh, that's because I'm looking at the wrong thing here. This is what I'm looking for. Nexon to Alpha departure today. So RNAV SID, after our takeoff, remain on tower frequency until 1,000, then contact caster departure. Vectoring will be normally provided by caster departure when instructed for lineup squawk assigned SSR code. CPDLC is available above flight level 100, including TMA. Crew should log on with EKTK before takeoff, and SIDs include noise abatement procedure. Strict adherence during climb out is mandatory, so follow the SID routing. That's your noise abatement as well. Initial climb clearance 7,000 or as requested if lower. So 7,000 I've got set now here, you can see. And the Nexon 2 Alpha. So track extended runway center line to CH-840. So what I need to do is I just need to do this here. Alright. I just want to zoom in and we can follow along here and make sure that everything matches. That's what you got to make sure is that the SID, the charted SID matches what's programmed in the FMS, because this is the procedure. The FMS is never the procedure. The FMS is a helper. This is the procedure, what's written on the chart. You must make sure that whatever's programmed in the FMS matches what's actually published on the chart and change if necessary. So max 250 knots out or below 7,000. Next to Alpha, so track extended runway center line to CH-840, then it's CH-843. If I zoom out just by one here, there to CH-843 because it's got a very big turn in there. CH-844, CH-845, CH-846, CH-845. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one here. CH-845, CH-848. Why is there no CH-848? Nope, I'm looking at the wrong one. CH-845. It's this bottom one here. CH-840, 843, 844, 845, Bista, Nexon. That's what I'm looking for. Bista, Nexon. Okay, good. All right, so are you ready for the departure briefing?
Go ahead.
All right, before I tell him, he brings us up. Marginal weather, radars required, pushbacks required, takeoff is, I forget what it is here. Did we say flaps 1? Flaps 1, yes. Config 1 plus F, thrust is reduced, weather's a threat, takeoff runway is 04 right, 135, 148, 149, 63, that's all good. Cruising altitude today is 33,000, thrust reduction at 1,000, transition altitude is 7,000, and takeoff CG is 28.5. Let's just recheck the chart here to make sure the transition level for departure. Transition altitude, no, it is 5,000.
Hi guys, here is the load sheet for you.
Thanks. Thank you.
No problem. Have a safe flight.
I think that's the first time she actually understood me. Okay. Packs off, takeoff, yeah, start engine 1, then 2, that's all good. Okay. No, not that one. I forget what button it is. This one. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Get that out of my way. So the departure today. First of all, technical status of the aircraft. We have the generator fault. After start, we do have to do that procedure. We also have to do our de-icing as well. And let's see here. Yeah. No TAMs, nothing for departure out of Castrum today. So the departure today is the Nexon 2 Alpha departure for Copenhagen Kastrup on 10-3 Papa. Routing constraints are all in the box as published. Let's see here. Top altitude is 7,000. 7,000 feet is set. The noise abatement is to follow the SID and the Company 1010 pages. It's not a mountainous airport. Level of service is... let's see here. Level of service is not published in this country, but we can check the 10.9s. It was very low anyways. We got 2,500 meters. It's very reasonable today. And the engine out. We're also going to follow the SID. That'll take us out over the ocean, keep us over the water, over the low terrain initially. Let's see here. Takeoff performance in the box today for the left seat departure off of runway 4 right. It's a wet runway. 500 meter shift from Bravo 3 right now. Flaps 1, flex 63, V1 135, VR 148, V2 149. A transition altitude of 5,000 at 10, 10, 10, 10, 15, 10. Let's bring this down actually. Engine out acceleration should also happen sooner. 10, 10 as well. For noise 2 departure, 217 is the green dot speed that's been pre-selected for the climb. Managed departure, we got climb blue, nap blue. We got the autopilot on shortly after departure since we're single pilot. We do have ATC and it's going to be IMC. Let me think here. In the box, the RadNav is auto-tuning. The secondary's got the immediate return onto runway 4 left. And let's see here, the immediate return, we are going to be above the max landing weight of 64.5 tons. So flaps 3 packs off unless we have time to run the checklists. That's all I got for now. And any questions?
No questions.
All right. No big questions. The threats really are just the weather here in Copenhagen. Yeah, I looked at this last week because we were going to do this, so de-icing appears to happen. Oh, keep picking the wrong airport here. Over here, there's a de-icing taxiway Bravo. I bet that's where we're going to get sent to because then we taxi down Bravo to get here. So I bet you we're going to go taxi de-icing at Bravo here. And yeah, we got a 1 runway crossing. Strobes on for the crossing. Look both ways. Confirm we're clear to cross. Any doubt exists. We'll stop and recheck with ATC. Otherwise, I think that's all I've really got for departure today. We still have to run the checklist for the de-icing. For the brief 4-star for de-icing, it's actually fairly simple. It's if it's a container runway, use packs off for takeoff. Make sure we get a holdover time is obtained. Crew and passengers are advised, and then the flaps we have to leave at 0 in the after start for the de-icing process itself. All right, I think we got everything. Looks like we are fully boarded. Let's go ahead and get the APU bleed on. The external power can go off. And I think we're just about ready. I just want to check and make sure that this is tracking first of all. So where's my Simbit world here? It does say connected. Yeah, that's all tracking. So that's good. I think we are good to go. Just checking my trackers, working on the other screen as well. It is. I think. Is it? It's being very slow, I think is what it's doing. It just needed a little reset. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback. Due to icing conditions, please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
Alright, I'm just going to make sure I have the de-icing checklists. I have them on my tab, so I'm just going to make sure they are ready here. Airframe de-icing engines on. Beautiful. Pre-flight checklist. Cockpit preparation checklist.
Completed. Bypass pin inserted.
Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Fuel quantity.
9,900 kilograms.
Seat belts.
On.
Adheres.
Nav.
Arrow rest.
QNH985.
985 set. Cockpit preparation checklist complete.
Before start checklist.
Parking brake.
Set.
Takeoff speeds and thrust.
V1135, VR148, V2149, flexing 63 degrees.
V1135 VR 148 V2 149 flex temp.
Locking gear.
63
Canadian
degrees.
75 Golf, Roger,
Windows.
taxi by Yankee, Alpha, hold short, runway 12.
Closed.
Beacon.
On.
Before start checklist complete.
Scandinavian 927, ready to ready for taxi and request de-icing.
Sorry, I mixed up two traffics. Scandinavian 927 first, taxi by Yankee, Alpha, hold short, runway 12.
Yankee Alpha, hold short 12, 927.
And Scandinavian 75 Golf, taxi via Charlie and Bravo, holding point 0 for right.
Charlie Bravo, holding point 0 for right.
Lufthansa 1212, give way to the Scandinavian, crossing left to right from the de-ice pad.
Scandinavian crossing left to right.
Yes, he's crossing left to right. He's coming from the de-ice pad. When clear of the Scandinavian, taxi via Alpha, hold short, runway 12.
Okay, this way, taxi by Alpha, hold short, runway 12. Lufthansa 112.
Scandinavian 691, Charlie 34, ready for pushback.
Set.
Canadian 691, for pushback, contact the tower please, 118105.
118105, got it. Didn't know this tower came online. It's getting to be a busy little airport here. Castrip Tower, hello. Scandinavian 691, gate Charlie 34 with information alpha, ready for pushback.
Hey guys, all packs are on board. Are we clear to close?
Go for it. Yes. Cleared to close.
Flight controls.
Cancel checklist. Got $1 for every time I said cancel checklist. Cancel checklist.
Station calling, standby.
Cancel checklist.
Roger.
There. Now we finally did it. Oh, moment of truth. Hopefully everything starts properly today. Now I've really jinxed myself.
And Castrop Tower, Scandinavian 927, holding short Alpha, holding short 1, runway 12, request de-ice please.
Alright. I think this guy's in training because there's two people logged on. I think one guy's in training. Nav accuracy upgrade on that one. GPS Pro.
Correction, first Lufthansa 1212, Castle Tower, hello. Taxi stand Charlie 28 via Alpha, Foxtrot, and Quebec, cross runway 30. Say again?
Oh, jeez.
Lufthansa 1212, Castle Tower, hello. Taxi stand Charlie 28 via Alpha, Foxtrot, and Quebec, cross runway 30. Taxi Charlie 2, Alpha, Foxtrot, Quebec, cross runway 30. 2121. And Castle Tower, what's it gonna be, 927 calling?
Yeah, holding short runway 30, request taxi to the de-ice area.
Yes, just close this door if we leave the gate.
And 927 behind detecting A330, taxi Alpha, and then enter the de-icing pad lane number 2, cross runway 30, report when de-icing is complete.
Right, that after the Lufthansa A330, crossing 30 and to lane 2, we'll call you back, 927.
Scandinavian 6901, gate Charlie 34, information Alpha, ready for pushback for de-ice.
Scandinavian 6901, Castle Tower, hello, just confirm, did you get the clearance from approach?
A-firm, we're squawking 4545.
Scandinavian 6901, according to me, you're not squawking 4545, so please check squawk mode Charlie.
And looks like the FO changed it for some reason. We're back on 4545.
Scandinavian 6901, your number 1 for push, traffic behind, I'll call you back.
Roger. I don't know why he changed it. Ah, always waiting. I'm trying to find a map of the de-ice facility.
Wind is 060 at 15 knots, runway 04 right, clear for takeoff. After departure, 805, to the right, clear for takeoff, finish the Falcon.
Let's see here. The thing I could do is I could probably do this and then do an overlay. And Navigraph will probably have all the data underneath. De-icing Bravo. It looks like there's only one de-icing Bravo. Assuming that's where we're going. If we're going to de-icing Alpha, which maybe actually I think that's where he said the last guy, so maybe that's where we might end up going. Then it's
Scandinavian 601 behind the Lufthansa A330. Push and start is approved. Release going Quebec 2. QNH is 9986.
all right. Behind the Lufthansa, pushback to spot Quebec 2 on 986 Scandinavian 691. All right. So we're going to go ahead and. This did not like what I did last time, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this. If I can... I don't have to remove it, I just have to do something like that. That's fine. Maybe if I just do it again. Yeah, that's fine. Alright, since he's going right into the next gate here, we're going to just wait a second for him to completely get on the gate here, or at least far enough that I'm not going to hit him as we go back. I think that should be good enough. Alright. Oh, shoot. You know what I didn't do? I know what I didn't do. Give me 1 second here, guys. I know what I didn't do. And I see dancing cats there. Hi, Hayden UK. Nice to see you again. I did not turn on my throttle quadrant again. That's what I didn't do. That should do it. There we go.
Commencing push.
Brakes are off.
Due to icing conditions, Please stand by for engine start until push completed and brake set.
Alright. It doesn't really... It looks wet out there. It's like right at 0 degrees. I don't think it's really icy conditions. So I'm going to go ahead and say we are starting engine 1.
Okay.
Alright. You seem to have found how to use emojis or something today. Okay, so that's good. We got the bleeds on. Thrust levers are at idle. Let's go ahead and start engine 1 here. I'm not sure what your emojis are trying to do. You've got dancing cats, a lot of smiley faces, and I'm not even sure what that purple guy is. Is that a headbanger? I think it's a headbanger. That's what it is. It's a big bird there. Alright. She is slowly starting to turn. There comes the fuel flow. We should get some EGT here momentarily. There we go. Good stuff, good stuff. Gotta love a nice emoji. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing okay as well. Last week we tried to do this, and this is where it all went to hell last week. So far, so good. I'm going to go ahead and pop over here to the electrical page and say, yeah, generator 1 doesn't work anyway, so. Although, this is really rapidly increasing. Yeah, well, it's fine. Not unreasonable, though. So I think we're going to be okay, because last time both my generators, my IDG temperatures went off the chart. Alright, so we got good start on engine 1. Starting engine 2.
Set parking brakes.
Alright, make sure we've stopped moving. We did. Alright. Brakes are set, confirm the pins are moved. Alright. This engine's slowly turning. She's getting up there. She's got to get to 25, I believe, before fuel gets added. Or is it 26? 25 or 26 before fuel gets added. There's 25. There's the fuel flow. Yeah, 25, the fuel flow gets added. So it's a little slower to start than the CFMs. The CFMs are some of the fastest starting turbine engines I ever saw. Okay. So far, so good. As we round 50%, we're going to take another look at the electrical page and make sure it's all working for me today. That's a very reasonable IDG temperature.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed.
Alright.
Left is clear, right is clear.
I didn't even hear a clunk. There it is. There's the clunk. Okay. Thank you. I can see the nose wheel steering still reconnected, so you convert to hand signals. Have a good day. There goes Buddy with the pin. Gen 1 off, that's fine. Thank you. Okay, Gen 1 off, that is our MEL. So I'm going to go ahead and clear Gen 1 off and remove the status for now. We'll circle back to that in a moment here. And I just want to check this electrical page because this is where I got really hooked last time, but it seems like it's working okay. So, before we do anything else, we have an after start procedure to do here today. Because we've got the MEL. So I'm going to just pull this up really quickly over here. Nope, not in here. Sorry, this wrong window. Here it is. So today we've got the after start, so we have to do this in order. So I'm going to just put this on the other page, but I'm going to read through this step by step and make sure everything happens the way it's supposed to. So we have the electrical page up, and so first we have to APU master is on. APU generator is on, generator 1 push button off, and generator 2 push button off. So they want to check that this automatically shifts the load, and yes, the APU gen is powering all the AC buses, AC1, AC Essential, AC2. Then we turn the generator, the operative generator on, so Gen 2 on, APU generator off. And again, make sure that all the AC generators are powered now by Gen 2. AC1, AC Essential, AC2 are all powered, so that's good. And then we can put the APU generator back on. That's the check. We just have to check and make sure that all that load shifting happens automatically, correctly, since we don't have generator 1 today. All right, then we have to leave the APU running for the whole flight as well as the other thing, but we don't need the APU bleed, and we've got the normal engine start. We can do that. All right, so I don't even know what we do here in this airplane, but it's spoilers. All right, after start checklist.
Anti-ice.
On.
Scandinavia 927 ready for taxi.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
Scandinavian 927, Roger, taxi Delta, Charlie and Bravo, for holding point Bravo 3, runway 04.
0.2 nose down. Set and checked.
Delta Charlie Bravo Bravo 304 right to Scandinavian 9.
Neutral.
After start checklist complete.
Flight deck Rob speaking.
The cabin is now secure for takeoff.
Thank you. All right, we're ready for taxi.
Scandinavian 927, apologies, I totally overlooked the fact that you're heavy. Taxi holding point Bravo 1, runway 04 right, taxi is the same.
Yeah, we needed full length. Bravo 1, 04 right.
Scandinavian 691 ready taxi de-ice.
Scandinavian 691, Roger, taxi Quebec Fox, cross runway 30, then Alpha, then enter lane number 2 on the de-icing pad and report when finished.
All right, for de-ice taxi Quebec Foxtrot, cross runway 30 Alpha, and lane 2 will advise de-icing complete. Scandinavian 691. Quebec Foxtrot Alpha into lane 2.
Castle Tower, Lufthansa 830 with you.
Lufthansa 830, Castle Tower, good evening, wind is 760 at 15 knots.
Brake check.
Number 2, continue approach,
Pressure zero.
Lufthansa 830.
All right, so we're looking for Foxtrot to cross 30 over to Alpha. We're not going to bother with any before takeoff checklists until de-icing is complete.
Lufthansa 830, runway 04 left, clear to land.
04 left, clear to land, Lufthansa 830.
Scandinavian 2514, welcome to Copenhagen, taxi Alpha, hold short, runway 30, no.
All right, so I see a sign on the pavement here to help me out, which is great.
And Delta, hold short, runway 30.
Taxi Alpha, then Delta, hold short. I need to hold short again.
Scandinavian 2514, taxi Alpha, then Delta, hold short, runway 30.
Taxi Alpha, then Delta, hold short 30, Scandinavian 2514, thank you.
All right, Foxtrot cross 30. All right, clear left and clear left side.
9717 Delta.
He doesn't care.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, you're number 2. Wind is 060 at 15. Continue coverage.
All right. Well, today we're actually going to get this flight done, so that's good progress. I was so annoyed when it didn't work last week. All right, so we're on Alpha. This is the de-icing pad. Lane 2 is the middle lane on the de-icing pad here on the right. All right, we're clearing the runway. Strobes can go back to auto. All right, not the de-icing pad I was expected to go to, but nevertheless, you flow with it. And it's funny because I am such a planner, which is what makes me a good pilot, but you've also just got to be able to just smile and just go with it sometimes. All right. So this is the de-icing pad, right turn here, and lane 2. You can see the sign there for lane 2, the middle of the 3 lanes.
And red nose 9717 also expected late landing, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty busy here in Copenhagen tonight. All right, lane 2.
Lufthansa 830, please expedite vacating.
Expedite, Lufthansa 830.
Scandinavian 927, after departure, contact Copenhagen approach 119.805, wind is 060 and 15 knots, runway 04 right, clear for takeoff.
After departure 119 and
All right, I assume this is the stop line right here. This looks like a stop line. Just trying to stop the nose wheel on that line. So right about there, I think, should do her. All right. Brakes are on. All right. First, we do the configure for spray engines on checklist. So, configure for spray engines on. Thrust levers idle. They are idle. Park and brake on. It's on. Cabin press mode selector, check auto. So that's over here. Cabin press mode selector. It is auto. Lights are out. Engine bleed 1 and 2 off. So engine 1 bleed off. Engine 2 bleed off. Disregard the air bleed ECAMs. APU bleed off. It is off. Ditching push button switch on. So ditching on. And advise ground crew brake set aircraft configured for spray. So that's the ECAMs there. Bleed 1 and 2 off. That's expected. And we'll request de-icing services here. Fluid application start time note and hot DRA cars transaction obtained, so make sure we have a holdover time. Here come the de-icing vehicles. After spray use of APU bleed to supply air conditioning is prohibited for 5 minutes to prevent contamination of cabin air. APU bleed may be used for engine starts, but we have all the engines running, so it's not a problem. It's going to be type 4.
Confirm aircraft is ready for treatment.
We are configured for spray type 4 wings and tail. Type 1 and 4 wings and tail.
Roger, 17 give way to the attacking A320 passing from left to right, give way.
Coffee's already cold by the time by the time we leave the gate. But this is it. This is winter operations right here, and we're starting to get towards the tail end of it. Thank God. It's been so frigid in Eastern Canada for so long, and the Eastern U.S. I know is the same. Absolutely frigid. We did not have a day above zero for almost a straight month, which is very unusual. It's the longest cold snap in 12 years, 11 years, 12 years. I think it's in 2015. I guess 11 years. Yeah, we haven't had a cold snap that long in a long time. Like, it goes below zero a lot, but then it's usually like it's like for a couple days, maybe 5 days, and then you get an above zero day. But we haven't had an above zero day until, I think, Monday was the first day the temperature went above zero this week. Had been the first day since, I think, like January 9th. So I think it had been 4 weeks since we'd had an above zero day, and it's just been absolutely frigid beyond belief. Just crazy. That's not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for... Even just the spot view is fine. It's another beautiful day in winter. Oh, what are you going to do? It is what it is. Specifically, airlines allocate lots of extra flight time when they are dealing with winter conditions. Alright, that looks like they're done. Thank you very much. Alright. De-icing, anti-icing complete checklist. Chrono start. I did start the timer. Ground equipment and personnel confirm clear. Alright. Clear left and clear right. Ditching push button switch off. So ditching's going off again. Outflow valve, check opening. So on the pressure page, make sure the outflow valve is opening again now. If event avionics system fault triggered, it's not been triggered, it's fine. Wait at least 1 minute after spray completion before selecting engine bleeds on. Engine bleeds 1 and 2 on, and normal procedures resume. So we got 10 seconds to go, then I put the engine bleeds on, and then we start going. Alright. There is 1 minute, so engine 1 bleed on, engine 2 bleed on, and the de-icing checklist complete.
Push and start approved. Release point Zulu 6 and QNH 986 Lufthansa 5 Romeo Golf.
Red nose 5511, push and start approved. Release point Juliet 4, QNH is 986.
Push and start approved. Release point Juliet 4, QNH 986. Red nose 5511.
Scandinavian 691 ready taxi. Castrop Tower, Scandinavian 691, de-ice complete, ready taxi. Got my chart here ready to go. All right, well, while we're waiting, flight control check. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Why am I doing it?
Scandinavian 691, taxi Delta, Charlie and Bravo for boarding point Bravo 3, runway 749.
All right, holding point Bravo 304 right via Delta, Charlie, Bravo, Scandinavian 691. All right, we are going to take the Bravo 3, so that's fine. So, out of here, left turn. Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't turn off the taxi lights. And usually the de-icing guys will yell at you if you have the taxi lights on. That's all good. All right. Well, at least it won't be snowing when we get to Rome. Better not be. Although the Winter Olympics are only like a couple 100 miles away from Rome or something. That was weird. Had a weird little audio glitch there. Right. Cancel checklist. Why did he suddenly switch to... Oh, I must have tapped the speaker button. Alright, so this is Delta, so left on Delta, and it'll be a right on Charlie, right on Bravo, so we're just going around the front. Cancel checklist.
Roger.
There we go. Was muting for some reason. All right. When did he select flaps 1? Did he select it when I wasn't paying attention? I don't like the way the Airbus standard checklist is structured. It feels like it leaves holes for things. All right, so this will be Charlie, so right turn on Charlie. And then we should have a little bit of time to run the flight control check here. I'm very used to kind of flying without FS2 crew as well, so... yeah, I'm very used to flying. I'm very used to flying without FS2 crew. So I'm used to doing like things like you'll catch me doing that. I tried to do the flight control check by myself, and like I don't need to do it by myself. I got a guy here. Flight control check.
Ready. Full up. Full down. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Taxi checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flap setting.
Config 1 plus F.
Config 1 plus F. Radar. Predictive wind shear system.
On and auto.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff no blue.
Taxi checklist complete.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen,
And right now, 501, we're ready for taxi to the DIC.
this is the lead flight attendant.
All right. This is Bravo.
Taxi,
On Bravo all the way down to Bravo 3.
Join runway 12,
Card in your seat pocket.
then make a right turn onto Alpha, and then...
We can probably taxi a little faster now. We kind of going a little slow here. Make sure we have time for all this.
Lima, Kilo 3,
So it's going to be Bravo 4 and then Bravo 3.
Lima to lane 2, I believe.
So it's a good thing we did the numbers from Bravo 3. We're all set for that.
Lift a metal flap
Red
off
Nose
the buckle.
5511, almost correct. Lima, then Kilo 3, then runway 12.
Not great visibility out here. I think it's more than a mile, but it's definitely not much more than a mile. 2,000 meters maybe. 2,500, yeah. I'll buy that anyways.
Lima, Kilo 3, runway 12.
All right. I didn't note the time, but this was our de-icing completed time, and then we had 1 hour as a minimum to 1 hour 55. So I don't, unless we get some kind of a weird delay here, we'll have no problem getting out of here. Oh, and then the visibility kind of improved just right there. I didn't even notice. I look down for a second, I look up and the visibility's better.
Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and pull a mask towards you to start the flow of oxygen.
What's funny is how little this airplane wants to move, even with the anti-ice on. Anti-ice on is usually like, oh my god, I have to hold the airplane back constantly because you have the minimum thrust. The idle thrust setting goes up to generate enough heat for the anti-ice. And certainly on the CFM engines, I don't know if it's an IAE thing, but on the CFM engines, you can't control these airplanes. Americo 14, yes. I am still on 2020. I actually talked about this in my last stream. I'm still on the fence, and I think maybe after I finish season 14, I think I might upgrade to 2024. I might try it and see. I just don't see the big push for it. I'm not interested in that big career mode or anything like that. I've got this sim working so well, the way I like it. That's the trouble. Is that and just trying to find hard drive space. I think the only way I'm going to find enough hard drive space is I might have to finally delete Red Dead Redemption 2, which would be sad because I really like that game. But so be it.
6 miles ILS 04 left.
I think it'll be worth it to have a good sim. But okay, this is taxiway Bravo 3 here coming up on the left. So it's going to be our departure point.
Please land runway 04 left, thanks. Scandinavian 27 Alpha.
Scandinavian 691 after departure, contact Copenhagen approach 119.805, wind is 060 at 15 knots, runway 04 right, clear for takeoff.
After departure, contact departure on 119.805, clear for takeoff runway 04 right, Canadian 691. Thank you, good day. Runway entry procedure.
Takeoff runway confirmed. Approach path clear of traffic. Cabin crew is seated for takeoff.
Lineup checklist.
Takeoff runway.
4 right confirmed.
Runway 04 right confirmed. TCAS.
TARA.
Pax 1 and 2.
Off.
Lineup checklist complete.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Yes, sir. Very good. After Nose 9001, we'll be looking for a engine test on Site 6, and we'll be ready for a pushback in a few minutes.
Red Nose 9001, second please.
Red Nose 9001, we'll be looking for a engine test on Site 6, and we'll be ready for a pushback in a few minutes.
Red Nose 9001,
Takeoff.
Roger.
Check.
Just for your information, I do not have a flight plan on you.
9001, Roger.
Castle Tower, Lufthansa 5 Romeo Golf is requesting taxi.
Lufthansa 5 Romeo Golf, Roger. Is the icing required?
Negative.
Here it comes. Mantoga, SRS runway, auto thrust blue.
5 Romeo Golf, Roger. Taxi Zulu.
Mantoga, SRS runway, auto thrust blue.
And then holding 1 Bravo 1 runway 04 right, confirmation.
Via Zulu and Bravo holding point Zulu, Bravo 1 holding 04 right, Lufthansa 5 Romeo Golf.
Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Nav. Autopilot 1.
Pax are on.
Thrust climb, auto thrust. Flap 0.
Speed checked. Flap 0.
Castro departure, hello, Scandinavian 691 2000, climbing level 70.
Scandinavian 691, good day to you, Copenhagen approach, class flight level 192.
Climb flight level 190, Scandinavian 691. Alright, 190 set. All right, so we're cleared to 190, so we're going to go ahead and transition to standard.
Scandinavian 691, turn right heading 190.
Right turn 190, Scandinavian 691.
Now.
Stand by. All right. So I got heading 190. I'm going to just bring the speed up to 220. Gen 1 off, that's expected. We definitely got some precipitation here in the climb out today. All right, there's 5,000. All right, so we do have standard transition is set, and that is the expected MEL. So I'm going to clear the generator 1. I'm going to make sure this guy didn't turn off the APU at some point too, because that wouldn't be surprising. And I'm going to remove the status because it's all just the expected MEL. All right, well, a little egg on my face again.
Scandinavian 691, our navigation, direct Nexon.
All right, direct Nexon, resume O navigation, Air Canada 69. Scandinavian 691. Wow. VATSIMisms. Okay, so direct to, you said Nexon. You never know what call sign you're going to be on next. So there's naving to Nexon. Perfect. So we are turning. We're pretty much done the turn, so we can manage the speed and start accelerating here. There's the nav. How's the temperature? It's TAP +2. It's not bad, but we are definitely going to keep the anti-ice on for the time being. Hopefully we'll get up above this cloud layer here soon. 2024 takes less space and you might get better FPS on it. Yes, but at the same time, the thing that makes it take up less space is what makes me worry about it. I'm as time goes on, I'm realizing more and more that streaming all your data off the internet is not necessarily a good thing, and people are being trained to think that this is a good thing. It's not necessarily a good thing. It goes back to that whole, like, you don't own anything anymore. Everything you think you own, you're just renting. You're just renting video games from developers. You don't actually own them anymore. So that is probably, and that's why I have a big issue with 2024. It's this whole idea that data is not stored on your computer at all. And yes, a lot of the stuff I see here now, the satellite stuff is not stored, but at least there's a basic world that I can fly through at that point, even if the servers go offline. And they do from time to time. So, how many streams would get screwed up by trying to stream all the data onto the server and then from the server onto my computer, and then the server goes down. I've had that happen before, and it's frustrating. So that's why I'm leery of anything that's like has to be connected to the internet to work, that doesn't function if it's not connected to the internet. That I always view as a big software flaw. As a big software flaw. And I see, like, my kids using the online version of 365 because their school provides it, and that's how they're expected to hand in their assignments. And I'm just like, I see it being such a problem, because if the internet's down, if you don't get good internet in your room, even, you can't work on your assignment. There's advantages to it, but it's not. Keeping everything online all the time is not inherently an advantage in and of itself. And there is a big disadvantage to it, that your data is no longer under your control, and I just despise that. So anyways, that's why, like, 2024 does give me, like, it gives me anxiety and just seeing the kind of issues they had on day one, again, just gives me anxiety. I wonder, like, is it going to be there when you want it the next time?
Advisory 128, have a good flight, goodbye.
Thank you so much for the ATC. Over to advisory, Scandinavian 691, g'day.
Welcome.
All right, 22.8. It's funny because the departure controller gets all the credit, but the tower controller did most of the work with me through the de-icing and everything else. But all right, there's 22.8. Advisory's up, and we did, let's see here. We did go through 10,000, so 190. Now we're going to go ahead and put flight level 330 because we are with advisory. So 330 is set for cruise. I'm going to put airports up here. RadNav is auto-tuning. The secondary is now, since we're well departed, we're going to recopy that. And the prog page is, again, showing us limited to 378. We're cruising at 330 due to the APU MEL. we've got guard up on number 2. I'm going to turn you off because I find that can sometimes cause a conflict. I'm going to make sure I'm up on guard. Let's see here. Fuel. We've consumed 1,100. That adds up to almost 99. That's good. Still balanced between both sides. A little bit of extra burn from the APU there. That's probably going to be the way the flight's going to go down. And cabin is definitely pressurizing. So we are on our way, everybody. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the chatter. I'm sorry I wasn't able to focus on it so much. Just try to get this flight underway. And that's the battle in this business. It's just trying to get the flight underway. So now that we're underway, yes, we can go ahead and talk about stuff. Yeah. So it's been a cold winter even by Canadian standards. Yeah. Thank you, Hayden UK. I missed your comment completely from before, but yes, absolutely. We get cold snaps, for sure. But this was a very prolonged period of cold weather, and it was just like every day seemed cold in the last, and nothing seemed to want to. I have such a. It's funny. We just went through flight level 180, and I have such a compulsion to go and set standard. And it's like you set standard like 12,000 feet ago, 13,000 feet ago. Well, yes, it's been extremely cold in my part of Canada, anyways. And from what I understand, it in Western Canada right now, it is it's very much the opposite. And they were having a heat wave. I think it's ended now, but like I think the interior BC hit 20 degrees one day. I think last week, and here we are. We were suffering through still minus 20. And I've had some interesting stuff happen the last little while because of that cold weather. Now, I just want to check this actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, make sure this thing knows I'm flying. Yeah, okay, good. That'd be annoying if I got the airplane moving and then the tracker was not moving. Yes. So I came to work the one day last week. Last week, right? I think it was the week before actually now. And it was one of those like bitterly cold mornings. It was minus 20 degrees easily overnight. And first we did, even though it was kind of mid-morning, I think it was like 9 o'clock or something, we were the first flight of the day on our particular aircraft. So that thing was cold, and it didn't have an APU either, just to make it even better. So we had to have exterior heat. Fortunately, the exterior heat was on. It was doing a good job, but we didn't even have an APU that day. We had an APU, but it was the APU bleed was not working. The APU was working, but the APU bleed was not working. What they'd actually snagged over the past couple of weeks was that number of times over the past couple of weeks, the APU had not put out enough air pressure to start the engine. They'd gotten repeated start faults during the start because the APU was not putting out enough pressure, so they eventually MEL'd the APU bleed to try and fix it over time whenever they get the chance. But in the meantime, we had this airplane on a super cold day with no APU bleed, so no way to heat the cabin, and we had to... yeah, we had to fire it up with the external air cart, which is fine. It's one of those things, it's like it's not a big deal, but it's just one of those like, it takes so much more time. It takes so much more effort to do this thing. And that's the thing. It's not hard. It just takes time. It's just a bunch of extra steps, everything. Because there's an inherent risk factor. Doing an air cart start with an airplane, there's an inherent risk factor. Normally you start engines during a pushback. Your REB crew is near the nose of the aircraft. They're near the wing tips if they're walking the wing, but they're not anywhere close to the engines. But in order to start the engine with the air cart start, now we've got the connection for pretty much every airplane is on the belly of the airplane between the two engines. Somewhere on the belly is the connection for the air start connection. So you're now going to have to start an engine and run an engine, and then after the engine's done being run, there's going to have to be someone who's going to have to crawl underneath the belly of the airplane, or walk, depending on how tall the airplane is, but get underneath the belly of the airplane, close to the engines, right in the midsection, right at the wings, and disconnect that air hose and latch the panel back up and everything. There's a lot of added risk. There's a lot of added risk by having anybody walking close to the middle of the airplane when an engine is running. So it's not hard, but there's a lot of extra steps in there, not just because of the technical problems, but also just for safety. And I'm not complaining about the safety, but it's just one of those things. It's like, I'm going to do this correctly. I'm going to do this safely 100% because I do not want anyone to get injured, but it just makes everything go slower. It just makes that because you have to do all these safety checks. It's fine. I'm not complaining about the safety checks per se, but you just know when you see that APU-MEL, you're like, oh, it's going to be a long day. And it was. That engine did not want to start because it was super cold, and we actually got, I think this is the first time I've ever seen it, we got the oil filter clog message pop up during the start. And that was because the oil pressure went off the charts. I don't know what it is here on the, I don't know what the limit would be here on the IAE engines, but on the CFM engines, oil pressure, the range of the oil pressure is from 0 to 100. Normally at idle it sits at like about 20 to 30, and even when you're cruising it's at about 60 psi. It went well past 100. It went to 100 and then just went X's on that. Pretty sure it was number 2 engine we started first. It just went to X's because the oil was so thick, so sludgy, because it had been sitting outside. It was minus 20, so this oil was minus 20 that this pump was trying to suck out of the reservoir and force through the engine, and it triggered the oil filter clog message because there was so much back pressure from this heavy sludgy oil trying to get pushed through there that it actually triggered that message for the first time. First time I've seen it anyways. And yeah, the engine, and it went away once the engine had started and was warmed up for about 2 or 3 minutes, but then of course it turns into a whole big thing. It's like, well, let's talk to maintenance, let's make sure maintenance is cool with this, let's make sure they don't have any issues. Okay, so the outside air temperature is minus 46 degrees. We can go ahead and take off the anti-ice. Looks like we're finally above the cloud deck. We're going to go ahead and take off the seat belts. Using my judgment as a pilot, I said, yes, this is probably just because the engine's super cold. I've run engines that are super cold before. The oil is very thick. It's not unusual to get high oil readings. The Dash 8 was notorious for this as well. You do an engine start on a cold day, and that oil pressure would just hit levels you don't expect. But all the manufacturers say that's fine on a cold engine as long as it settles back into a normal range when the engine warms up. After 5 minutes, it should settle back into a normal range. I'm sure even Airbus says the exact same thing. I'm pretty sure it does. Now I'm going to go check it because since I have my tablet right in front of me here with it. But let's read what it says anyways. So for engines, oil. Oil pressure. So for the CFM engines, this is not for the IE engines, but for the CFM engines, there's actually it's a whole chart here. It's actually a whole chart. I don't know if I hold this up if you're going to be able to see this here, but it's a whole chart here for oil pressure for what's acceptable. So normal operating oil pressure range. Starting at like 42% N2, 13 psi is the lowest you can have that's acceptable. So at 42%, you can have 13%, and it goes all the way up to, if you're running at high power, so 105%, you can have as much as 90 psi. That's considered normal, and it's a straight line between those two. So the higher the engine speed, the higher the oil pressure is allowed to be. That's considered normally. And then above that, it says pressure in this area is acceptable transiently under very cold conditions. So Airbus says it's okay for it to be higher pressures when the oil's cold, as long as when it warms up, it's fine. And then at the top, there's actually a line to cold start bypass valve opens at 305 psi. I don't think it hit 305 psi because I don't think it was actually. I don't know how high it got because it just went to XX, but it didn't stay in XX very long. So if it gets to 100 and then above 100 is considered XX, it doesn't recognize as a value. It can't have hit that high for it to go above 100 and then come back down. I think within about a minute or so it was back down below 100. So if I was to guess, like 32 climb 33, Roger. If I was to guess, it probably peaked somewhere between 110 and 130 psi, like somewhere in that range. I don't think it got anywhere close to 305 psi, but I hadn't seen that one before.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, we'll begin our field service for the flight. Please
Just watching the level off. Mach, Alt Star. Alright, and one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to look over here to see if there's any ATC en route right now. There doesn't look like there's too much until we get into Italy. It looks like there should be something in Italy for our arrival. That's far from now, so maybe that won't happen. But you know what actually would be smart, though? Mach Alt Cruise. Alright. Let's just do this right now. I'm going to pull up an ATIS for arrival. Not that I'm going to use it now, but if they go offline, at least I'll kind of have something to reference. What about, of course I have it, Americans. LIRF. arrival. Let's see if we can get an ATIS here for this. Receive messages. I think we left the gate a little bit behind schedule, but I don't think it was terrible. There's an ATIS for Rome. Love it. 34. So my programming for 19 or whatever it is, or 816 is completely out to lunch anyways. 16 left. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. That's fine. We got 2+ hours to deal with it. Right now, I look down and I see 14:56 is our arrival time. That is just over 2 hours from now, so we got lots of time to kill. So we got time to talk about stuff. And yeah, I talked about this in my last stream. I am on the fence about 2024 still. It was one of those things where I didn't see a big need for it. The launch debacle really soured me to it big time. It really proved to be like, this is the problem with streaming software, is that you are so dependent on another company's servers all the time, and then if they can't scale up, then guess what? You don't get to enjoy your software today because they screwed up. It left a really sour taste in my mouth for a long time. It still does, because I just think about that as being a constant risk. I know they haven't really had any issues. They managed to scale it up within a couple of days and have sort of sorted it out now that the initial rush of people over to that sim is, sort of set a baseline an expected baseline that they can deal with on a daily basis. But it was just one of those things. It just really it bugged me a lot. So, but again, I think more than anything, I use that as an excuse, but I think at the end of the day, what it really is that I'm afraid of change. I'm old. I'll admit it. I'm getting old. I'm a bit afraid of change. I have this sim set up so nicely. I like the way this sim runs. I know everything's going to work for me when I want it to. I'm just afraid of the hassle of setting up everything in a new sim. That's... Yeah. Are you using 2024 Uncle Wiki? I didn't. I don't know if we ever talked about it. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing. Like, it looks pretty, but like, for me, FS 2020 was not a question. It was an easy thing to do right at the start because it was such a revolution from the previous version. With the satellite imagery, the change was. The change was so completely, it was a revolution. 2024 is not a revolution, it's an evolution, it's an iteration, I'm sure it's an improvement in many different ways and does a lot of things sort of stepping up, but it doesn't change the game completely the way 2020 did compared to FSX. So that's why, like, I didn't feel the need, I didn't feel the compulsion. Now I'm starting to get that itch. There's a little something in the back of my head that's saying, like, maybe this might be fun. You might enjoy this. Maybe it'll be worth your time. And that's the other thing, is the time. It's going to take time to set up the sim to fly the way I want to fly, because I have so much stuff that I need to install in it, that I need to make sure it runs in it. Multiple different aircraft. I've got all the airport scenery. Fortunately, it's all stored in separate folders, so I could use, an add-on linker to kind of put most of the airports into the new sim. So I don't think it would be that hard, but there's a part of me, I feel like it's one of those things where, like, I have to set aside a chunk of time to allow myself to set this up, make sure everything runs properly. I need a week where I have multiple days off where I'm not doing anything, where I feel like I can get this stuff done. And maybe it won't be that hard, but I feel like it's like one step below upgrading to Windows 11. It's like, it's such an upgrade in terms of how much stuff. Aren't you excited to pay PMTG more money? Yes, I am so excited to pay PMDG another $20 to put my 37s back in there again. I'm happy that a lot of developers have kind of stepped up and said, if you bought in one sim, we're going to kind of support you in the other. Certainly, a lot of scenery should still work across the board without changing. I'm happy a lot of that stuff's going to work without changing versions, without upgrading. So. And I know Fenix is going to work, and that's my big thing. If I get, as long as the Fenix works, I'll probably be happy. That'll be it. Although, that being said, I did start playing with the 350 finally this last week or so. I've started playing with it a little bit. I picked it up a couple months ago when inibuilds had a sale there. I always call it inibuilds. I always call them ini files, so I always call them ini builds. But anyways, I picked picked it up when it was on sale a few weeks, a month, 2 months ago or whatever, and I like it. I like it a lot, but I find it has issues. And I'm not sure if it's going to be quite stream-worthy. Not to the level of fidelity that I have grown accustomed to with Fenix. It's definitely not up there in the same ballpark as Fenix, not by a long shot. Now, the interface is great. The flight deck is great. Pretty much everything in the flight deck seems to work as it should. Where I've run into issues with the 350... What nice airplane. I didn't mean to trigger that. I was just going to turn the volume down just a little bit for the external shot. Where I have issues with the 350 is it seems to have some navigation issues. I've had a couple of complicated SIDs that it just did not seem to fly. And the funny thing is, like, you look down at the box at what's programmed in the flight plan. It's all correct. The altitude is there. The inbound course for the next leg. Everything is there that needs to be there. So I'm sitting there like, why is it not flying it? Like, I had to keep on pulling it into heading mode and just manually selecting the heading to fly the track. The track is drawn on the ND. All the waypoints are programmed in correctly per the SID, but then it doesn't fly what's programmed. It's in nav mode. It doesn't fly what's programmed on some of these SIDs. And it's funny because then the cruise phase, it's fine. The approach, the arrival phase, but it seems when you've got SIDs with like altitude things in it and courses and things like that, climbed 1,000 feet and then right turn to intercept this or whatever, it seems to have problems with that. I haven't been able to kind of nail down exactly what it is, but it's just like it seems to be very inconsistent flying the SIDs. The arrivals, the ILSs, everything, the approaches, it seems to fly them solidly, banging, no problem at all. But the departures, a little bit all over the map, and I'm not sure what the deal is there. So that's one issue. And then the second issue I had, I think is just it doesn't like to fly multiple flights. I ended up doing a long-haul flight, and then overnight I did a long-haul flight, woke up in the morning, landed the airplane, and decided to turn around and take it somewhere else on a little short-haul flight without, restarting the sim or anything, just deboard at the gate, board the next flight, load the flight plan, and away we go with the second flight. It did not seem to like the second flight. It seemed to have a lot of ghosts of the first flight in it. The loading and unloading, it seemed to be an issue. It didn't seem to know how much fuel it was supposed to take. And then the other thing that was really kind of threw me off because was that it did not want to fly an RNAV approach. I flew to Detroit, and they were advertising the RNAV. There was I think it was 22 right. They were advertising the RNAV for 22 right, so I decided to load up the RNAV for 22 right, but then when I armed approach mode, it decided to arm local glide slope, and it flew the ILS approach down, even though everything was programmed for the RNAV. It said RNAV at the top of the ND, everything was set up for RNAV, but it didn't want to fly the RNAV. It insisted on flying the ILS, and it flew a great ILS, but that wasn't what I programmed in, so why did you fly the ILS? I think it just remembered that we flew an ILS on the first approach, so it seemed to be stuck in ILS mode. It didn't seem to be able to comprehend that it was now going to be doing an RNAV approach. So I'm a little concerned about flying it on stream because I just feel like it doesn't quite do what it's supposed to. It just doesn't quite operate. It certainly does not operate at the level of Fenix. It's unfortunate. I hope maybe these things will be fixed, or maybe I'm just running into some issues. Maybe it's the certain airports I'm flying to, but the one airport I was flying to is a very standard SID with just like for multiple parallel runways where you just climb and then 1,000 feet you make a slight turn away from the other parallel runways to the first fix. As soon as before it even hit that first fix, it was off. I don't know where it was going. It was going like 4 fixes down there. Nothing I could seem to get it other than just eventually giving it direct to the fix it wanted to go to anyways. That at least resequenced the flight plan, because the other problem I had when I was the other problem I had with the SIDs and it not following the flight plan is then none of the waypoints in the flight plan would sequence. It wouldn't fly close enough to the waypoint. It wouldn't sequence. And so I had to manually clear out all these waypoints to finally get it to kind of catch up to where it actually was. So I don't know where the autopilot and the flight director were trying to fly, because according to the nav, they were stuck way back somewhere before. There was... And it's unfortunate because, like, it looks like a great model, and it's such a complicated interface, and they've done a great job of modeling the interface. The all the touchscreens, even things like zooming in on the moving map to select a taxiway for brake to vacate, and the brake to vacate worked fantastic. Like I used it a couple times now, and it worked absolutely fantastic, no problem. So it's very weird to me that something as basic as flying a SID, the aircraft is struggling with. This should be basic, you know, programming. If it's not able to fly a SID, you shouldn't even be selling it. Certainly not for the price they're asking for it. So, yeah, it kind of makes me go, like, what's going on here? Why? I definitely need to play with it a little bit more. See how it handles other SIDs. But I may have to start flying SIDs in heading mode in the 350 because it seems like it just wants to turn. And it's funny because it got me also thinking about all these people who make those turns immediately after departure on the SID. And you see it all the time. You see it all the time in Toronto, where it's fly heading 237 to 1100 feet, right turn heading 245 until radar vector's on course. And you see people all the time get off the ground, and immediately the aircraft starts carving as soon as they hit like 100 feet, 400 feet, it starts carving towards the first fix. My instinct is always to blame the pilot, but I wonder now, looking back at that, how often someone thinks they're doing the right thing. They think they've got it programmed. They can see they don't delete the discontinuity. They see it says 1100 feet, then a right turn in 245, and then the airplane does not do what's programmed in the FMS. It makes me wonder. And I mean, at that point, obviously the pilot should be taking over and flying it in heading mode and following the SID manually if need be. But it makes me wonder, you know, I'm so quick to blame the pilot. And oftentimes that is the issue. Oftentimes the person does not understand. They didn't read the SID. They just programmed in some waypoint and said, yeah, I must be going to that waypoint right away. Maybe it's not always the pilot's fault. Maybe sometimes the aircraft is doing things that it's not been programmed to do. And it's just going off on its own. And still the pilot should be pulling heading then and taking control of the aircraft, flying where it should be. But, yeah, maybe I won't be so quick to blame the pilots in the future. I mean, at the end of the day, you're still responsible for what your airplane does. But you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's not just people not reading the SID. Maybe there are programming issues as well, and not FMS programming issues. I mean software issues. I mean the aircraft is not programmed to fly correctly. The developers have not done everything correctly. Anyways. I really would like to try the 350 because I think that's going to be a fun airplane. It definitely goes a lot faster, but it doesn't even feel like a big airplane. That was the funny thing. The only time it really felt like a big airplane is just kind of when you're trying to make the turns. When you're trying to make turns on the taxiways, and you've got to think about the fact that the main landing gear is 100 feet behind you, and you don't want to drop the inside wheel into the grass. You got to go way deep into these turns, especially lining up on the runway. I still haven't figured out how to line that thing up on a runway yet. I try. I think it's long, and then I think I've given it enough room to go way past and then swing back on the center line. I still haven't done it, or I think at one time I overdid it. So I'm still trying to find the happy medium. It takes a while. It takes a while to find the right spot on different airplanes. Different airplanes very much have different feelings. So, but yeah, it's a fun airplane. It's kind of fun to get back into long hauling a little bit. I have not done long haul overseas stuff in a long time. I used to do a lot of it in the P3D era. I used to fire up a flight in the evening, and then I just go to bed, wake up, land it in Europe, or vice versa. Haven't really done that much lately, and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun to see different parts of the world. I think that's one of the things that I really don't do enough in the simulator is I don't expose myself to different parts of the world. That's why we're here. That's why we're here now in Europe, trying to fly the Scandinavian 320 around Europe instead of just being stuck in North America all the time. And there's so much to North America as it is. Like, there's so much great scenery, there's so many great airports. Like, I like it a lot, but I'm trying to branch out a little more. So hence I'm here in Europe now. I mean, I really should. There's so much more to the world than just North America and Europe, but like one bite at a time, one little bit at a time. Maybe next we'll start looking at maybe doing some flying in Australia, and really kind of take me out of my comfort zone, as if Europe wasn't out of my comfort zone enough already. Let's go to the other side of the planet and let's fly around there. And there's some great places to fly there too. There's some great scenery in Australia. I really should probably be thinking about that too. So I think I'm willing to kind of open myself up to more opportunities and really stretch my comfort zone. I've been so living in my comfort zone for so long, and it's really time to get out of that comfort zone a little bit, and let's explore. And I definitely plan on sticking with Scandi for another season after this one. So season 14 and season 15 will definitely be Scandi because I'm enjoying it, and I think they're interesting routes. There's lots of great airports in Europe. I've only scratched the surface now. Just curious. Okay, so what am I being paid right now? And here's the problem with always online stuff, is that you always got to wait for stuff to load. Let's see here. My pay rate right now is $50.31 an hour. My bank account's at $4,500. That's not bad. Swiss Air wants to offer me another $10 an hour to come fly for them. Lufthansa offered me a job here as well. And Korean will offer me $67 an hour to come fly for Korean Airlines. That's an extensive route network. I knew they were big. I didn't realize they were that big. That's a lot. That's an extensive route network. Huh. But there's also a lot of short haul across Asia here. So obviously 777s, wide bodies, 777s, 330s, 87s. Even some old 47s there, 380s. Like, they got a very wide-ranging fleet, but they've got a lot of A320s as well, and a bunch of 737s as well. So definitely some medium-range Asian stuff. Actually, Korean's an airline I never really even thought about. It could be fun, but again, my only, and I hate to complain about it, but I do kind of complain about it a lot. It's going to be very much an out-and-back airline. 95% of the stuff is going through Incheon here. So it's going to be very much... There is some other stuff throughout the Korean Peninsula here. There is... It's not just Incheon, but very much 80% of it. So, but I'd never thought about Korea, in all honesty, in all this time. Maybe it's time to go out there even a little further out of my comfort zone and go into Asia. Maybe. So then, of course, the first question becomes, if you're going to have a hub at Incheon, do we have good Incheon scenery? I have not really looked into this at all. VATSIM releases Seoul Incheon for MSFS. We have Lee Aero Design. Doesn't look half bad. So there are some options here. And then VATSIM releases Seoul Incheon from MSFS. So there's definitely some possibilities there. It's a big airport, Jesus. But I mean, look at the scope of this airline here. Look at how many. I never knew they were that big. I honestly never knew they were that big. 160 aircraft. That's a big fleet. That is a big airline. I'm not going to be doing the long haul stuff. I'm not going to be doing Asia to Europe. But there's enough interest within Asia that I could probably do this stuff within Asia. Oh, there's lots of things to think about. I mean, and Lufthansa would also be interesting. Again, I think Lufthansa in Europe, I would not suffer as much from the in-and-out airline. I think it would definitely be... It's hugely focused on a couple of big hubs. But I think like SAS, I think Lufthansa's on a scale with SAS where, especially if you're kind of doing medium haul around Europe, you get a lot of medium haul, not just from Frankfurt, but from the other hubs within Europe. I guess really Munich is the other hub. So you got Frankfurt, you got Munich, but then you got a few other airports. I think you would get a little bit of interest, a little bit of round robin, different stuff sideways, especially throughout Germany. There's probably a few more. No, maybe not. Maybe everything does go through Frankfurt and Munich. You would think there'd be like a few little kind of like direct other ones, but no, maybe not. But again, another airline that covers Europe quite extensively, so that could be interesting. But I'm not looking to get out of Scandi yet. I'm having fun with Scandi. I'd like to see the Nordics more in the summer now. I'm getting very tired of winter. Winter has become very long, and I can't wait for it to end. And see some of this beautiful Nordic scenery maybe in summer. Maybe. I don't even know where Jet2 is or Flyplay. Swiss was the other one I was going to kind of look at. And really, I mean, Zurich and Geneva, like, again, a dual hub airline. So, like, there's definitely possibilities here. There's definitely possibilities here for a dual hub airline, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm just looking to stay away from single hub airlines. I don't want... It's not that I don't like a single hub airline, but I think from a streaming perspective, it's going to get boring, and it's going to get boring fast, because every second flight is going to be landing at the same airport. It's always going to be just go somewhere, come back, go somewhere, come back. Which some airlines, that's all it is. Your home airport, you know that airport like the back of your hand because 50% of your flights go to that airport. But as a streamer, I think you want to see more variety. That's what I'm assuming, and that's what my goal is to provide a little bit more variety flying around Europe and wherever else. But there's definitely some good possibilities. I am not exhausted with this career yet. I am still enjoying it, and it's still moving forward slowly but surely. As I said, I got money now. I got $4,500, so I got enough money to buy that A350 type rating I've been eyeballing, and I think that might be the one. I don't know. Maybe I should do the 777, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it now again because, like I said, it's good that I flew the 350, but the fact that it's got issues makes me say, I don't know if it's totally the plane I want to fly on stream. But I mean, I flew the CRJ. The CRJ had its own issues, and we made do with it. We got through. Now that I'm kind of aware of what the 350 issues are, hopefully it won't be so bad. And like I said, I think multiple flights is what this is like. So doing a single flight in the stream and then resetting the sim afterwards probably would be fine. Live on YouTube. Live streaming FS 2024 Saturday event poll salary. $104. Merry Christmas. Wow, shows you how long since I looked at this. Saturday event poll. I don't fly on Saturdays because I'm generally working on a Saturday. If it's a Saturday, I'm probably working. I received a friend request from Thomas said Matchdeck. Not sure how to say your name, and I'm sorry for butchering it, but I will definitely go in the community and accept friend requests. If it's still here, I will accept. Oh, here it is. So friend request, and rescinded it probably because I took too long to answer. And I'm sorry if you want to resend it. I'm sorry. I only opened this up to fly the streams. I've decided all this is for streaming. And yeah, so let's see here. Current flight maps. Let's see who's flying around in a pilot's life right now here. There are 388 flights going. Look at how many people are flying this right now. Like, it blows me away how popular this piece of software is, because I look at it as being fairly niche software, you know. But look at this. Look at how many people are flying around Europe on this. You know, chances are, like, one of those flights I probably saw, at least in Copenhagen, was probably flying a pilot's life. Chances are a couple of flights we're going to pass by along here on the way are going to be pilot's life flights. Like, there's a lot of people. 20,000 people have purchased this software. Right now, 388 flights are in progress with almost 500 pilots connected, 4.9 million flight hours, and 2.2 million registered flights. Like, you can't say the software was not successful. These guys came up with an idea. It definitely worked for them. Pilot's Life Chapter 2, a grand tour. Yeah, not my thing. That's just not my thing. That's, you know, and different people have different things. It's just not my thing. A random flight generator, that's kind of a neat little piece of software too. And I think it's very nicely complementary to what they're doing here, just for random one-off flights. Maybe it's time to review my career as well. Sure, finance reports. Show me my entire career's finance reports since 2022, I guess. I think that's when I joined a pilot's life. I think that was Chapter 1 as well as Chapter 2. And yeah, I mean, 2022, I earn money, spend money on typewriting, earn a little bit of money, and I do not earn money quickly, that's for sure. I do not earn money quickly in this. Aircraft license purchase, shop purchases, weekly salary $6,500. My account initiation $5,000. I got a bonus for being a user, a level 1 user. So I've only made $6,500 as a pilot apparently in like 8 years. Not a very lucrative career the way I fly it. Let's see here. What else can I look at? XP report. I imagine this is not too exciting either. Again, and I imagine some of these people's reports must be just like absolutely crazy how much they've accumulated. But I'm just not working it up there that fast. I'm enjoying streaming it little by little, talking to you guys about what I stream, what we see out here, XP flight type, XP simulator. So this has all been earned. All this experience was earned in MSFS in Chapter 2. Let's see here. JetBlue was a lot of. I learned a lot of JetBlue. Didn't learn too much at Endeavor. A lot of short flights. Didn't spend very long there. Then I went to Alaska. Spent a bit of time there. Again, did quite a few flights. But then JetBlue, I learned a lot of experience at JetBlue. Scandi, I haven't been there that long. And then, of course, you go over here and you look at the aircraft types. A21N, I probably just did not, and A20, I probably did not reprogram those properly. A320 by itself. And then you add in A21N, A20N, and A321, and it's like 60% of my flying was like this. And then there was the 37, because it was JetBlue was all 320. Alaska was all 37, and Scandi was, or Endeavor was all the CRJ. And I used to do some long flights. I've given up on the long flights and the long days. I think those days that I did, I think those were the couple of CRJ days where I managed to get 2 flights in a single day, where they were short flights, so I could get I could get 100 experience points twice in a day. I think that's what those all represent. Anyways, it's a fun piece of software. We don't have much more left to do. After this, we go from Rome back to, I believe we go back to Oslo is the last thing we've got after this one. Rome back to Oslo, Gardermoen, and then that's it. Then we'll generate a new season. We'll go to some new places in Europe. That's going to be fun. I can't wait to do that as well. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying Scandi. I think Scandi's a fun airline, and I'm loving flying in Europe actually. Though, even though it's a bit of a pain when you're streaming, just the density of traffic and the density of ATC in Europe, especially the time that I'm streaming. This time of day, it's getting into afternoon in Europe. People are logging on. People are getting home from work, from school, and logging on and flying and stuff like that. And so the density of the ATC, it's almost surprising. I'm not going to get more ATC until, it looks like, till we land pretty much here. So another hour, we'll probably have to start calling up some Rome centers. But yeah, it's very different from flying in the day in the US, where everyone's at work, everyone's at school, and nobody's online, or so few people are online that you never see other airplanes. And I actually haven't seen anybody for a while here. It's not since we left, but Copenhagen was busy. It was busy enough for the 2 controllers that were controlling it. They were working steadily. It was definitely interesting. And you saw other airplanes moving around, so it definitely added that depth. I've started now when I'm flying solo, even though I'm flying on VATSIM, most of the time I'm flying during the day when it's quiet. If I'm flying around North America, I've started firing up the FSLTL traffic injector more and more often, just to put some airplanes at the airports, just to see some airplanes moving around, because it's just starting to feel like I'm the only person out there half the time. And right now it's kind of feeling like that, because there's not much happening on Unicom. There's nobody broadcasting on Unicom. There are a few calls here and there. Actually, I'm not really paying much attention to it, but there's some stuff happening in Germany, but I'm just going around all the ATC that's in Germany right now. I'm not doing it purposely. It's just the route I'm on is filed all around it. So it is what it is. We'll talk to people when we have to talk to people. Let's see what else we got here. All right, so 14:52. We got about an hour and a half to go here. I'm just trying to time it, so in about 30 minutes, we'll probably end up setting up. So, interesting topic that came up a little while ago to me, anyways, and I thought I could talk about it. But you know, I have a couple of kids, and my kids are getting older now. The eldest one is 15, youngest one's 12. They're getting up there in age now, so it's getting to the point, especially 15-year-old, you're going into grade 11 next year, starting to look at what are future career prospects. And something that is circled back multiple times now, something that has circled back more than once, circled back multiple times, is because she really hasn't really honed in 100% on what she wants to do. She kind of knows where her interests lie, but not to the specificity of, like, what am I going to do for a career? What am I going to do for post-secondary education? More like just general, like, I know what I kind of like, more science. I like science. I like, you know, the not so much math, definitely not English and languages, but definitely science, something in science and even biology, you know. But then every once in a while, we kind of keep circling back to, you know, what about flying as a career? What about aviation as a career? Could I be a pilot? Could I be an air traffic controller? I kind of said, I hate to stifle my children's dreams. I kind of said no, because a little bit of an anxious person. It just does not strike me as a personality type that would be good for ATC, but could be a pilot. And it's funny, too, because, like, if you'd asked me when my kids were born if they should be pilots, I didn't even have to hesitate. No. Dear God, no. This career is terrible. I hate it sometimes. It's such a long slog for so little reward. No. I didn't even want to entertain the notion. Go do anything else. And I used to give the same advice to anybody I met that said that they wanted to be a pilot. You know, my wife would talk to people, say, "Hey, my friend so and so, or my coworker's son wants to be a pilot. Do you have any advice for them?" And my one word advice every single time was, "Don't. Just don't. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't give into it. Don't be a pilot." It was such 10 years ago. It was even, and maybe a little more than 10 years ago, but certainly 15 years ago when my kids were born. I was so tired of it as a career, and it was like, it's all I know how to do, so I'm going to keep going with it. But I've been doing it for 10 years, and, you know, I was still struggling to make a living, struggling to find enough work. You know, just felt like I was never going to kind of make it anywhere in the business, and I was very frustrated with it at that point in time. I've been working as a pilot for 10 years, and I was an FO. I guess it was, yeah. I was as a captain on a very small turboprop, and it's just like after 10 years, like, this is all I have to show for it. Like, it doesn't seem like a whole heck of a lot. So I was very frustrated at the time. So I did not want my kids to follow through in my footsteps. I said no and do anything else, but I don't want you to be a pilot. Fast forward now 10 to 15 years. The world's a very different place now than it was 10 to 15 years ago for so many reasons. We can't even begin to imagine. Like, imagine even what it was like in the year 2000, let alone 2010. But even just before COVID, 2019 just seems like a lifetime ago at this point. Before COVID, after COVID. That's the two times we've lived in. But it's very different now. Pilots are finally getting some respect. I think they've always got respect from the public, but getting respect from their employers at long last as a skilled workforce that is in demand, that is not producing a lot of new pilots, and all of a sudden, you know, things are very much looking up. You can definitely make a go of this career. You can get ahead in this career in a much shorter period of time. If you can get to the major airlines, you can make a decent living, especially if you can get there in 5 to 10 years alone. It took me 20 years pretty much to get to a major airline. Yeah, pretty much 20 years, yeah, give or take. A little more than 20 years, I guess, to get to a major airline. You know, now you could easily be in a major airline in like 5 years, 10 years, and you could have 30 years of major airline. And you look at this, because I see this now at my airline, and every month they send out a list of people who are retiring, and they list their years of service. And some of these people, like, it's mind-blowing. Thank you for your 37 years of service to the company. Like, what age were you when you joined this company? You know, you were like late 20s probably. Like, must be nice. Little jealous. There's definitely some jealousy there. I will never achieve that level of service, that many years of service. But it's definitely possible again now. So it was possible possible 30 years ago, 30, 40 years ago to get into an airline at a young age. It's possible again now. It hasn't been for a very long time. It's possible again now. And so I'm reaching that point where I'm like, I no longer immediately dismiss it. I no longer immediately dismiss it as you can't do that. You should never consider doing that. It's not a terrible idea. Yeah, so it's it's funny that she brings it up as like it's something it's definitely something she's considering, and I think she's more and more seriously considering it. And I hate for her to consider it as just like it looks like a good option and I can't think of anything better, because I love this job. I hate this job and I love this job at the same time. Because there's aspects of it that I absolutely love, and this is what I absolutely love. What you guys see right here, flying an airplane, soaring 35,000 feet above the earth, just you and your FO and the airplane, and it's up to you guys to take this airplane to where it needs to be safely, comfortably. It's an amazing feeling when you get up there and just looking down at the world, and you can get very philosophical when you're up there. So I love that aspect of it. Everything from takeoff to landing, I generally love. Everything from landing to the next takeoff, I hate. There's so much pain involved in it sometimes, and there's so many aspects of it that can be viewed as negative. I mean, people think it's all romantic. It's like, oh, you get to go to all these different cities. It's like, yeah, you get to go to all these different cities, but you're as often as not, you're stuck in hotels near the airport where there's not really much to do, and there's barely even a lot of restaurants nearby. There's just expensive airport hotel restaurants, and that's it. That's all you get to choose from to eat. Sometimes your times there are so short that you don't get to enjoy this. Or you could be like me, stuck on reserve, and basically mostly what I do, 90% of what I do is all single days. I go out somewhere and I come back the same day, which is kind of nice to sleep in your own bed, but it's like you're not sleeping and you're not visiting other cities, really. I mean, you're just flying to that airport, turn around and fly back again. So, yeah, there's times where it can be very draining and demoralizing. So you have to love it you have to love it at least a little bit to do it. Otherwise, you can really grow to hate this job. I love it, and there's days where I love the job, but I despise the work to get the flights going, because the plane's late, and now everyone's looking at you and wondering why the plane's late. It's like, I don't know. I'm standing here with you. I don't know why the plane is late. We can try and look it up, but so you're dealing with customs, dealing with flight planning, dealing with trying to get everything you need to, something's broken, you got to call maintenance, catering's not here yet, and all this other stuff you got to deal with just to get off the ground. And then just when you get up in the air, it's great, but you got to love that part more than you hate the bad parts. Otherwise, you will despise it. And I know lots of people who do this career, and they got into it thinking it was going to be a great career, thinking they were going to enjoy flying, and they liked flying. And I think a lot of these people who grow to hate this career love flying, but they just don't love flying enough to overcome all the negatives with it. So I have reached a point now where I would not discourage my kids from becoming pilots if they wanted to, but I want them to go into it definitely with their eyes open, more than mine were. I didn't know anyone who's a pilot. I fell backwards into this career. I thought the same thing. I thought, I want to travel. I like traveling. It seems like a challenging career. You got to use your brain. You got to use your judgment. I thought, this is right up my alley. This is what I want to do. This seems like a lot of fun, and it seems like it's a lot of fun, a lot of work, but a lot of fun. In the beginning, it was way more work than fun, I think. Way more work than fun. And there are days right now that are more work than fun, but there are other days that are more fun than work. So, they cancel out. I think in the end, I enjoy it more than I hate it. But you have to definitely be passionate about flying, passionate about airplanes. I love flying, because I know lots of pilots out there who are so far into this career, they've been in it for 25, 30 years. They don't have the time and the wherewithal to do anything else, so they do it, but they resent it. They don't like it. They don't do it because they love it. They do it because now it's a paycheck, it's a job. I understand why people fall into that. I don't want my kids to live that way, though. I don't want them to be miserable at work, because you're going to spend a lot of your life at work. AI comment notwithstanding, you're going to probably spend a lot of your life at work doing work one way or another. So you have to like what you do. I really believe that if you really want to live a fun life and an enjoyable life, a life where you're not just bitter and hate the world the whole time, you need to enjoy your job on some level. You don't have to enjoy every aspect of it. You don't have to enjoy every day of going to work, but you have to enjoy it to some degree, or you will be miserable, I think. And so you have to go into this knowing what aviation's about. It's a tough living sometimes. You will spend a lot of time away from home. You will have a hard time maintaining friendships, because your schedule will be the opposite of everybody else you know, unless you're friends with a lot of other pilots. Your family will put up with you being away from home a lot. It's not easy. And if that closeness and constant intimacy and contact with other people, friends, family, and everything is important to you, it might not be a career for you. And there are other ways around it too. I mean, there's not just airline flying. There are other types of flying where you could be out and back in the day, but they're usually not as lucrative. But there are other things. You could be a flight instructor. You could just go to work every day and come home at the end of the day. But even then, you tend to put in long days and kind of work around your students, and sometimes early days, late nights. There's other options. But yeah, the funny thing is though is that like I think about like my attitude towards my kids 20 years ago when 15 years ago when anybody asked me if my kids should be pilots, and I would have just categorically no, God no, for the love of God no. And how much my attitude has changed now. I'm willing to, if it's something they want to do, I will support them with it. I will provide every advantage that I can to help them through their career. I will use my own knowledge, ability, contacts, everything to help them out. But I still reiterate that it has to be something you have to really want to fly airplanes and like flying airplanes. At least like that aspect of the job, because the rest of the job can be a real grind. Scheduling and vacations and hotels constantly and changes and being behind schedule and things like that. Loser friendly. So you have to like this job, and that's my one thing that I really want to emphasize to my kids, especially my eldest, because I think she's really seriously thinking about it, and I think it can be a rewarding career, and I think she would have fun doing it, and I think she's got the right mindset. She can be a bit of a worrier. It's a good thing in a pilot to a degree. You can't worry to the point where you can't do things and get things done, but like it's good to be concerned about possibilities. What if this? What if that? What if this? Yeah, it's an interesting thing to ask yourself. Even and I'll ask you, any of you guys watching that want to volunteer, like, would you recommend your career to your kids? If you have kids, or even if you don't have kids, if you have hypothetical kids, would you recommend the career you do to your kids? Would you like to see them follow in your footsteps? Maybe not precisely, but same general career path, same type of job. Would you recommend it to them? Do you like it enough to recommend it to them? Being on the inside of an industry, you can always see the negatives along with the positives. People on the outside only ever really think about the positives, see the positives. They usually don't think about the negatives. Would you recommend your career to your kids? For a long time, I would have said no. I'll change my mind on that. The world has shifted, and my outlook has shifted a bit too, but I think it's more that the world around me has shifted to the point where pilots used to be such a surplus of pilots, and airlines could pay whatever they wanted because there was such a surplus of pilots. It's now turned around after years of being kind of a lousy job. I don't think it's a lousy job anymore. Pilots are in demand. And if you can get into an airline, and there's part of me that always wishes that I got to a major airline sooner, because I'd love to have a good pension. I'd love to have a long service life, making a decent paycheck, paying for that good pension. But I don't really regret any of the jobs I had before I worked at a major airline. I've had, oh God, let me think about it now. As a pilot, I've had 1, 2, 3... 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different jobs in this industry as a pilot. I only regret one of them. There's one airline I wish I'd never worked for. I just didn't like the airline at all. It just was not a good fit with me, and I only spent 18 months there, and thank goodness. But yeah, I don't think I would trade any of the other jobs I did. They were all fun in their own way. They were different. They were adventurous. Maybe some of them I would have done them for a little bit less time, but I had a lot of good experiences at a lot of them. And, you could go fly in an airline, but it's going to be the same thing over and over again. You're going to fly between point A and point B. You're going to see the same airports over and over again. If I see this, I would love to see a different airport once in a while. I see the same airports every single month. And when you work in different aspects, you see different things. So when you work, especially as a charter pilot, as a corporate pilot, you go to different places a lot. Some corporate pilots go to the same kind of thing that's almost like an airline schedule. They do the same thing over and over again. But a lot of corporate gigs, especially charter gigs, you're getting weird one-off things. So I've been to hundreds upon hundreds of different airports in the charter world. Everyone's an adventure. You don't know what you're going to find when you get there. You get some in a nice big city that the crew car that they give you, that they loan you to go out and get food for lunch. They give you this crew car to just go get food for lunch. It's a BMW in some cities. In other cities, it's a Jeep with a knob on the steering wheel. Not so much a city as a small town somewhere in the deep south, but they were all fun adventures. I had so much fun. The people I flew with at my charter companies were great. We always found something fun to do everywhere we went. I didn't have kids at the time, so it was kind of easy to do that. You have a little bit more disposable income. You get kids, you got to save your money, make sure everything's paid for. It's fine. But, we had fun. So I wouldn't give up that aspect of my career necessarily. I wouldn't say try to get into an airline. I wouldn't say try to get into an airline in a year or two and then give up. Because there's so much more to this life than just making money. There's fun things you can do along the way. And corporate stuff can be super fun. You go to all sorts of different places, meet different people, but you also fly with the same person consistently too. Corporate departments are usually pretty small. You end up flying with a small group of people fairly consistently. An airline, depending on the size of your airline, you may not see the same person again. And that's been my experience the last year and a bit, is that I haven't flown with the same person, I think, more than twice in the last year. And probably only been 5 or 6 people I've flown with twice. I've probably flown with 50 different people one time. So you try to get to know somebody quick, kill some time in the flight deck, chat, talk about things, get to know people, but then you move on. All of a sudden, they're gone. At the end of the flight, they go home. The next day, a different person shows up and you fly with somebody different. It's a very weird business like that. You meet people and you get to know people and you like people, but you don't become like really good friends with too many of them because you just don't see them too often. You become good acquaintances, but you don't become good friends. So you have to have, I think, friends outside the business a lot of the time. And yeah, I do use that excuse. I use that excuse as a schedule. It's not an excuse. It's just simply practical. I'm just like, I'm not going to be home. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be home. The only nights I'm home, only nights I can guarantee I'm going to be home, because I hate to bail. I also hate to make a plan and bail on it. And that's probably my other problem too, is I should just make more plans and be ready to bail on them and make it clear that, like, hey, if I get called to work tomorrow, I'm going to bail on this plan. But maybe we should make plans for Friday nights and Saturday nights, on the caveat that I may bail, rather than just only ever wait for the days where I know I'm going to be home, because those are pretty few, and then I have family obligations on those few days where I am home, so it cuts down the days I can actually hang out a lot. And I'm sorry, guys. Uncle Wiki, I'm talking to you. You know it, but we have not hung out in a long time, and it is my fault. I will own it, and I'm sorry. I use lots of things as an excuse. I also use sim as an excuse too, because when I have sim coming up, I feel the pressure to study constantly and make sure I've reviewed everything, make sure I haven't forgotten anything since last sim. So I tend to spend like 2 to 3 weeks before sim studying like crazy, just making sure I haven't forgotten anything. And that's on me. It really is. It's tough. Like, I think about it, and in the average week, I only have 2 nights that I can guarantee that I'm off. I only have 2 nights that I can guarantee that I'm off, usually, because usually, more often than not, we tend to more often have early reserve than late reserve, because we tend to start our flights more early in the day. There are some late flights, but most of the time things start early in the day. So we have a lot of early reserve. We don't get much late reserve. So if I have early reserve, the night before that is a no-go. So if I have 2 days off, I might have 2 nights in the week, and usually one of them is kind of reserved. It's definitely family night, so it only leaves 1 night maybe where I might be off if I can manage something. So it's tough. It's really tough, and it really frustrates me. Trust me, it frustrates me to no end sometimes, trying to make sure I have nights off when I want them. And I actually kind of lucked out. I will say this, I lucked out this month. I had 2 different family activities. We have 2 family outings planned this month. We have a dinner murder mystery, and we have a musical not a musical, but a show we're going to, theater we're going to as family. And I did, man, and they both were on Friday nights, because they basically have to be on a Friday night, because my daughter's in high school. She has so much homework most nights. I can't take her on any other night of the week besides basically a Friday night. She's going to complain that she does not have time to get homework done if I take her out any other night but Friday night. So Friday night's kind of the only night. Saturday night would also be a possibility. Also, my wife works super early, so going out during the week is not really a thing for her. So pretty much has to be Friday night or Saturday night. The odds of me getting a Sunday or a Saturday off are almost zero. I've managed to get the 2 Fridays off this month, and so that's actually good because I don't even have to call in sick and say, hey, I'm sick, because I actually have something to do on a Friday night, and I try not to. It's not like I go out of my way to try and make plans, but I try to make some plans because I want to spend some time with my family. My daughter is 15. In like 3 years, she's going to be out of the house. I would like to spend some of the remaining 3 years doing some stuff with her before she's gone. And not that she'll never come back and she'll never want to do stuff, but she'll have her own life. She'll want to lead her own life, and I understand that. And it's now I'm going to get I'm going to make myself emotional thinking about it, so I got to stop talking about that. It's hard to believe that it's a couple of years and my kids could potentially be out of the house. Not out of my life, but out of your life as a permanent, daily, constant thing. And that's going to be tough. Because I feel like I spent most of their lives flying airplanes instead of spending time with them. And that's another thing that's tough. That's a tough thing about this business. You can't. There's no two ways about it. You've got to have. It's all my kids have ever known. My kids assume that everybody's parents are only home a couple of days a week and and travel off to various destinations. It's just all they've ever known. Their father leaves, goes away for a couple of days, comes back. They don't think twice about it. It's just the life they've known. But I feel like I've missed a good portion of their lives because of it. And that's something you have to accept. And especially the other thing is that if you want to get into this business, you have to, when you find a life partner, you have to find a life partner who understands this business and is ready to work with it and is ready to support you, because it's not an easy business. It's not an easy business for a spouse of any kind, of any gender, whether it be husbands or wives, whatever. It is not an easy business, because your significant other will be away a lot. It's just the way it is, and things will happen when they're away, and you have to be able to deal with them, because that person may not be accessible. That person's in an airplane, they will not be able to call them and ask them how to do something. So you've got to be able to deal with stuff, and some people can do that and some people can't. I've talked to coworkers that have had girlfriends, and I'm like, we're thinking about getting married and serious, and it's like I feel compelled to have a conversation with them about, before you get married, love is great and love is important, and love can't conquer all. It really can't. Like, this business will strain the healthiest of marriages. And if you can't deal with some difficulty in your relationship, it's not going to go well. And I've talked to some people, and then I've heard them talk about their significant others, and I'm like, I don't think that's a relationship that's going to work in the long run. This person does not seem like a person who can deal with it. Some people can deal with it. Some people are great, but other people, it's like if something goes wrong, they need the immediate support blanket, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing. That's just a personality trait. But if you can't find that somewhere else, if you depend on your spouse to be that security blanket when something goes wrong, and you need that immediately, you have to understand that's not always going to be there immediately, because they're just simply going to be unavailable. Whether they be on layover, they're sleeping because they need to get up early to fly a flight, or they're actually in the airplane flying a flight, they will not be accessible to you. Can you deal with that? Do you have an altered support system if that's the case? Do you have, other friends around, parents, things like that can also support you? And my wife, God bless her, she has always been great to me in this career. She's understood that it's something I'm always been passionate about, but she's also just a very good partner to have in this career. She's just very understanding. She's understanding. But she's also independent. We love each other. We want to spend time with each other. But when things happen, when we're not around each other, we can deal with it. Our lives are intertwined, but they're not so dependent upon the other person that we can't we can't deal with time apart. We can deal with time apart. It can be tough. It can be tough sometimes, and we'll definitely run into emotional issues with it. But she's got an independent streak. She has her own things. She has her own friends. She talks to people. Like she can get by without me. And if things happen in the house, whether it be kids get sick or something breaks, she deals with it. And she'll tell me about it, and we'll deal with it together when the time comes, but she's ready to deal with it on her own as well. And that's so important. And it's not everyone can do that. Not everyone is like that. I'm so lucky that she is that kind of person, that she can deal with it when she needs to, and I'm ready to step in and deal with it when and help and work as a partner whenever I am available and around. But she just knows that that's the way the job is. And she supported me. My whole family has supported me, and I I'll get all emotional. I can't thank them enough for all the support they have shown me over the years. It's been absolutely wonderful. I don't think I could have made it through this and gotten to where I am in this career without their support. So that is crucial. That is critical. I've met people, I've met spouses that I know are not good for this career, and I know are going to end divorce. And I've met plenty of people who are divorced. Because love is important. It absolutely is. But this career is not compatible with everybody, both as the person in the career and the partner and the spouse. And you have to realize that early on and be ready to make those declarations early on. I don't want to ever discourage anybody. I don't want to break anybody up, but you have to be ready to make that distinction early on. Are you the kind of person that, like, yes, we're in love, we love spending time together, but if we're apart, can you deal with it? Can you deal with things by yourself as well? Because we will be apart. It's just the way it is. You're not going to be with me. I'm going to be gone for days at a time. The other thing is trust. Trust has to exist in the relationship, and I see some relationships where there is zero trust, and this is not a career that is built for zero trust, because you are going to be gone for a long time. You're going to be in hotel rooms, and although there's this trope about pilots being unfaithful, I don't think it's any more common or uncommon than any other industry. There was actually a survey done about fidelity in certain industries and what the kind of the rate of infidelity was in certain industries, and pilots were not they were up there on the list, but they were definitely not anywhere near the top of the list. There are definitely a lot of other careers that are more likely, but for some reason there's this trope that pilots are just always running around and having fun on layovers and things. And not to say that we don't have fun, because we often will go out and have a couple of drinks and have some fun, but we're not being unfaithful. We're just going out and hanging out with other people because we're in a different city and we'd like some social contact. We don't just want to sit in a hotel room all day staring at the wall. So there has to be some trust. I've seen both ends of the spectrum where there is trust, and then where there's so much trust, but then there's other relationships where there is zero trust. I have read about spouses that literally track their significant other's cell phones, share their cell phone locations constantly. They have access to their schedule. They know what hotel they're going to be in. They want a message as soon as the person gets into the hotel. They want a message when the person's leaving the hotel. It's nice to kind of share where you are and be aware of what the other person's doing, but you just have to have faith that that person is out there in the world, is acting responsibly. I couldn't imagine living in a relationship like that. Like, there has to be a certain element of trust. If I tell you I'm going out to work for a couple of days, if we're married, you have to assume that I'm going to behave myself. You have to trust, not assume, but trust that I'm going to behave myself. I couldn't even imagine living without that. And apparently it's not all that uncommon. There's quite a few people who just have so little trust in their relationship that they need this. They need location turned on. They need to know where you are. Why are you at this restaurant? Why are you at a bar? Who are you with? Yeah. The inconsistent schedules makes it hard to cheat. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know where I'm going to be, but yeah. If you're trying to cheat with certain people, if you don't care who it's with, then it probably doesn't make too much of a difference. But that's funny. That's a funny one. Yeah. But I've read some things, and I've talked to people, and I just think to myself, like, how is this a relationship? Like, I don't. if you're living in constant anxiety about what your partner's doing the whole time? What kind of a relationship is that? You're tense until they come home. Like, I couldn't imagine. I tell you, my wife is not tense until they get home. She's fine with it. She is okay with, I mean, she misses me. I don't know, I'm not saying she doesn't miss me. I mean, you know, but she's not tense wondering what I'm doing every minute of the day till I get home. She knows I'm probably sitting at home, or I'm sorry, sitting in the airplane, or I'm sitting in the hotel, probably controlling airplanes on VATSIM is probably what I'm doing most of the time. So I don't think she's too worried about me. I believe the word she's looking for is nerd. Okay, how are we doing for time here? We got about an hour. We're showing an hour until landing in Rome right now. So let's start setting this thing up here. Let's see here. What have we got? Okay, so I think we still have an ATIS in Rome. We do. So I'm going to go send for a new ATIS. Yeah, I was talking about the contrails. There are definitely a few contrails out there today. And that's the thing, that the traffic in Europe is dense enough that you see contrails from time to time. There was a company message in here, so let's just... oops, not that one. AOC menu first, and then receive messages. Hello, SAS Ops. No ADC required. We left on time. All right. Woo, we left on time. Nice. Haha. I think it was like down to the minute, but I think we left on time. Okay. Let's see here. Actually, you know what? It thinks we left early because I forgot that I adjusted the time, but I didn't adjust the time on my flight plan. So we left 3 hours early. That's the secret. Always just set your clock 3 hours back, and then you'll always leave on time. Okay. What am I doing here? ATIS. That's why it says we left on time. LIRF for arrival. Send. All right. So it's been pretty much an hour since I sent the last ATIS. That's pretty good. So let's see here. Mike, 1620. ILS 34 left and 34 right. Runway and use 34 left and 34 right. Transition level 8000. Operational information. Dependent parallel ILS approaches in progress. The runway 34 right or 34 left shall be assigned by a Roma radar. Wind 300 at 11. Visibility 10 kilometers. Cloud few at 5500. Temperature 14, 2.10. Oh, 14 degrees! Nice! That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm on about. 988. I'm going to make sure I got 988 set there. And back to standby, so that's good. That's what I'm about. 14 degrees. Hard to believe the Winter Olympics are happening a couple hundred miles north of that. Okay, so, yeah, I've never been to Rome before. Never been to Rome, so I really should probably start actually looking at some stuff here. So, what am I doing here? Charts. This probably hasn't even been linked in a while, has it? That's good. Okay, so let's go ground charts. Pardon me. All right, so I'm going to look at the 10-9 page. Wow, okay. Wow, those are some long runways. Okay, okay, good. Long runways, good. That's always good, yeah. Okay, so 34 left or 34 right. I think we'll put 34 left on the primary, 34 right in the backup. The gate I had parked at, I had set up in my thing, was right over here at the corner. I forget what gate it was, but I think it was like stand 401 or something like that. Let's just have a look here at parking stands. It's 507 or 509. I can't remember. I zoomed in and I adjusted one of these. I think it was 507. So we're going to try and park at stand 507 will be my goal. All right, so that's ground charts. Arrival. Just trying to remember. I think it was RITEB, wasn't it? Was it RITEB 3 Papa? I can't remember. What did my flight plan say here? All right, filed is RITEB 4 Alpha. RITEB 4 Alpha. There it is. It's already highlighted, actually. Haha, RITEB 4 Alpha. But this one is transition for north, isn't it? Yeah, this is transition for north. So let's have a look and let's... I can't really reprogram it until I get a reclearance, though, can I? Darn it. All right, there's RITEB. So RITEB 4 Alpha, 4 Bravo. For Charlie. For Charlie is a south arrival. 3 Delta is also for a south arrival. Oh, there's a lot of right tabs, holy moly. 2 Kilo. 3 Papa. Wow. I don't even know which one to expect. We don't even have a Roma controller anymore, do we? No. I think all we've got is tower now, don't we? No, all we have is ground, actually. We don't even have a tower. We have ground. He's putting out natives, at least. Thank you. We do not even have towers. So, I think we'll just reprogram anyways. And confirm. So, we'll do, which was the let's see here, what we're going to do here. So let's do the, was it 3 Delta or 4 Charlie? I think I'll do 4 Charlie here. 4 Charlie looks a little more direct anyways. So yeah, let's do the right tab 4 Charlie arrival for the, this is for 3-4 left or right. So let's do for the left side. Since that's the primary that's being advertised. So let's go ahead and do that one. And we'll plan, not what I'm trying to do here. Just make some good stars here. So we'll remove those because we're not doing 16s anymore. So we're going to do ILS or log 3-4 left or ILS or log 3-4 right is what we're going to do. So that's what we're going to do. All right. Okay, so 4 Charlie, we said. Okay, sorry guys, just trying to figure this out. I've never been to Rome before, so I am just putting this all together as I go. All right, so we're going to change this up. We're going to do the ILS. We're going to plan the ILS to runway 3-4 left. Right tab. Sorry, right tab 3 Delta, was it? Right tab 4 Charlie is what we're looking for. Right tab 4 Charlie. Insert. Alright, and let's just check the status. Center tank fuel, usable center tank pumps, generator 1. That's all good. Fuel's still looking good for arrival, showing 4 tons extra, or 4 tons when we get there, so that's fine. Ooh, look at the Alps. Beautiful. Nice. Okay, so let's just do a performance calculation here for 3-4 left. Looks like a dry day, so we're just going to say dry. Apply the METAR. Is that current? Yeah, it's current. Yeah, winds are still at 300. That's fine. Good visibility. All right, landing weight. I'm just going to go to my fuel prediction page. 58.5 is ZFW plus 4 tons for landing. That takes up to 62.5. I'm going to just round it up to 63. Give us a little margin there. Low auto brake, no reverse, manual landing, flap full, auto thrust on. We're going to use 2,075 meters of this 3,900 meter runway. So that's good. 3-4 right, I believe, is even longer. So either one runway will work from a landing data perspective. So that's good. So we got that all programmed in, so let's do this. We're going to put it into plan mode here, and let's go through this whole flight plan and make sure it's all good to go here. So back to the charts here. I selected them on there, but I'm going to select them on here as well. So for the star, we're going to do for right tab. My right tab for Charlie here. That's the one. Right tab for Charlie. So I'm going to put this right over here. And we're going to follow along here as we go here. So we're going to fast forward down to right tab. There's right tab. We're going to make sure we have constraints up so we can see all the constraints. So right tab is at a max 250 knots between 17 and 21. We go to Ravux above 10. Ligbu above 10. That's probably for terrain purposes. Isatu. Max 230 knots, above 6,000. Runnel, max 220 knots. And we're going to zoom in a little bit more to see the rest of these here. Nybug, below 9,000, above 6,000, max 220 knots. RF 481, 220 knots. RF 42, 220 knots. RF 43, 220 knots. RF 484, 220 knots. Wow, there's a lot of waypoints to kind of go through here. RF 486, above 5,500, 210 knots. 487s above 4,500, 210 knots, and Odula's at 200 knots above 3,500. So we're 6,000 over here, and we're 3,500 over here. These are obviously all just time-killing waypoints. So we can probably, if we don't see any traffic, we can shortcut ourselves in ahead of time here until we get cleared for the ILS to 3-4 left. So we're going to slide this over here. We haven't got the ILS up here either. So let's check the ILS 3-4 left. There it is. And we'll also just pin 3-4 right because we might get that one. All right. Okay, so we do have a number of waypoints here. There's a DME arc turn on to final by the looks of it. Or is it not a DME arc? It's just a turn to intercept. Where is it here? No, 25 to look. Yeah. Just a turn to a course of 319 to intercept. Okay, so we got a bunch here. We've also got Odula as a transition, so I can actually link these together. Ooh, let's do that. Let's go arrival, and let's do the approach VN. Let's put it in there. Because we have no ATC, normally you wouldn't do this because ATC will give you those clearances, but because we have no ATC, I would like to kind of link these all together right now. There we go. So from Odula to NIPSA, so Odula is above 2,500, NIPSA is above 2,500, and then 9.9 DME is also 2,500, 6.7 at FI34 is where we finally start descending below 2,500 on the glide slope, all the way down to the BA there. All right, continuing along with the missed approach. Missed approach is climb to 3,000 feet on a track of 339 and at 2.2 DME. We go turn left to join radial 277 to the OST, or to Yutmi intersection at 3,000. So 3,000, max 200 knots until we've intercepted that. Warning, max 180 knots at 8 miles and max 160 knots at 4 miles. Parallel approaches to runway 34 right. Refer to the 10-1 Papa pages. Let's see here, 10-1 Papa. Arriving aircraft, departing aircraft, low visibility procedures. We're not really worried about low visibility procedures. Preferential runway use, between 2,300 and 600 local time. Nope, it's daytime right now. Runway, reduce runway separation minima. Tailwind combustion on 5 knots, PSI, PSP 5. Arrival. Reduce runway on a temporary. Alright, so lots of stuff here. Taxi procedures, parking information, general, use of APU. Speed restrictions, 210 knots starting the turn, intercept the LOC. 180 knots completing the intercept to turn, or at a distance of 8 miles to the threshold to gauge a straight in. And 160 at 4 miles. I need the speeds consistent. Probably just for the spacing on parallel runways. Aircraft shall not vacate at runway 07, and whenever not able to vacate runway via Alpha Fox and Alpha Echo must continue taxiing on runway and vacate at Alpha Delta or Alpha Charlie or Alpha Bravo or Alpha Alpha. Okay. Oh, wrong airport. This airport. So Alpha Foxtrot, Alpha Echo, otherwise you continue across 07 and take those ones. These ones we have to hold at the inner holding point, which makes sense, busy little airport. We will have some ground control at least. Hold at IHB AE1, aircraft vacating Alpha runway occupancy time. Busy airport, I guess. All right. But nothing too crazy on there. While I'm at it here, let's make sure I have the parking stands ready to go here as well. So Alpha Echo 1. So you have to hold at Alpha Echo 1 and get ground clearance. So we'll just clear the runway and we'll hold right there at Alpha Echo 1 and try to call ground. Okay, so that's all there. RadNav, let's see here. So I got IFSW 1089 339. Where'd my approach go here? 34 left. IFSW 1089 339, that's all in. Good. 2500, yeah. The check height and the ILS minimums are going to be, let's see here. We are at 320. We're Category C aircraft 214. All right, so prog page, yeah, we're 210 miles out. Good, we're getting there. So for the descent, 78 and 313 is a fine speed. And so what are we? We're QNH 988. It's 14 degrees. I forget what the what the winds were. Let's see here. So 214 we said. 214. The barrel minimums. Missed approach is 3,000. I just need to get those winds in there. 3,000. 3,000. And so let's see here. Let's go back over here and pull up that ATIS one more time. Alright, this is just getting too awkward to see from here. This was at 1620. So we should probably have a new one out shortly here. 300 at 11. Alright, so 300 at 11 is the winds. Oops, 300 at 11. Alright. Fuel prediction, we've got 1.5 extra tons, 44 minutes of cruising fuel there. We're going to copy the active to the secondary, and then for the secondary, what we're going to do is we are going to change this to 3-4 right. Alright, so ILS 3-4 right, then we're kind of set up either way. If we start getting some ATC online all of a sudden, we can pick this up. Alright, we're going to stick to the same star. And approach vias, do we have that same transition? What was it, a doula, right? I believe it was a doula. Yes, a doula. So let's go ahead and select a doula. And then we can insert that. Alright, so our secondary should look very similar to our primary until we basically get to the approach itself. So we pretty much skip to the airport page here. And why is it not showing up? There it is. That's what it's supposed to do. A doula is directly in line with 3-4 right. Aha. That's why they like that one. Okay. So 3-4 right. Where's my approach plate for 3-4 right? So in the secondary, we're going to have 3-4 right ready to go. We can swap it up very quickly and easily. Let's see here. Okay, so Adula, Adabu. Adabu, and that is all right, that's what I did wrong. Yeah, that's what I did wrong. I pressed the airport page and it just took me back to the flight plan page. So Adula above 2500. Adabu is they've got 4760 on here. That's not what it's going to be at. It's above 2500 as well. 3500 actually. At 3500 at Adabu and Exu. So you gotta stay above 3,500 if we're gonna go this way. 3-4 right, probably because of the parallel approaches. And then the missed approach is climb on 339 to cross 12 DME at 2,000 or above, then a right turn, direct the Campagnano. Ugh, wow, my Italian's terrible. Campagnano VOR at 4,000. So that's all in the box as well. And secondary perf, we can also put in the minimums. So all the airport data should stay the same, just the minimums change for this approach versus the other one. This one's a straight 206 regardless of type. And this one is also, then we also changed the missed approach on here. So I'm changing it to 4,000. So we'll accelerate at 4,000 for this and missed approach. Okay. So that's all in the box. I think we got everything squared away now. How we doing? How we doing? Top drop scroll into view there. We got a hook in about 100 miles. Nice. Nice. We're getting there. Are you ready for the approach briefing?
Go ahead.
Okay, actually, before I do even program it in, he's going to prompt me for this. Weather's good. Runway's dry. APU after landing, yes. Pretty short taxi in if we make those first taxiways. Approaches an ILS. Threats, terrain to the east of the field, definitely a threat. Auto land, no. Final sector, yes. They will need their LS. Minimum 213, I believe we said. Just looking at the MCDU here. 214, actually. My bad, 214. Transition level. 7,000, I think. And arrival airport elevation, I don't know. I'm going to guess very close to sea level here anyways. Airport elevation is at 14 feet. Yeah, it's essentially sea level airport. All right. Save changes. No single engine taxi in. It's going to be a very short taxi in anyways. Yeah. All right. Pardon me. Okay. My throat is starting to get sore from too much talking. But the technical status of the aircraft today, we have got a good airplane except for the generator, which is offline. APU is doing a good job pulling its weight there. It's causing a little bit of an imbalance on the fuel, about 150 kilos now, well within limits, so that's acceptable for landing. And that's the only technical problem we have with the aircraft. The no times for the arrival in Rome, I didn't see anything, some overnight closures and things like that, but nothing too crazy. So the arrival today is, pull it up here, arrival today, right now we're programmed for the right tab 4 Charlie arrival because we're landing north in Rome. So right tab 4 Charlie, RNAV 1, transition level by ATC. I'll check the A's again in a second. All routing constraints are all as published. Everything's in there all the way through to Adula. And at Adula, we're going to plan to transition to the ILS runway 34 left. We may do 34 right. We'll watch the traffic if need be. Yeah, we're watching, that's the plan anyways, is the ILS runway 34 left. It gets us a little closer to our gate. Plate 11-6, Loc IFSW 108.9, and final approach course is 339. That's all been auto-tuned and checked. Glide slope check height at 6.7 DME is 2,500 feet, and the ILSDA for category C is 214 feet. Airport says 14 feet. The missed approach as published is otherwise advised by ATC. The top altitude 3,000, and the highest MSA is to the east of the field at 5,800. The mountains do rise pretty quickly east of the field, so west over the Mediterranean is the way to go if we have any kind of engine failures or anything else that affects our ability to clear terrain. Just go west over the sea. It's a 3.5 degree glide slope. Pappies both sides, Hiles, runway lighting. That'll take us right into the runway. We'll take a convenient right turn off the runway. We'll set the low auto brake. We'll plan for the Alpha Fox or Alpha Echo exits. Hopefully, we'll have to really kind of work to get those. If we miss them, then it's all the way down to Alpha Delta, and then we'll hold either at Alpha Echo 1 or hold short of runway 07 until we talk to the ground controller, who is currently online, although probably by the time we get there, they'll probably log off at the rate we're going. The planned parking stand is 507. So I'm going to go ahead and select that right now before I have a chance to forget in GSX. I'm pretty sure it was 507. About 70% sure. Whatever. GSX will work. It just may not be everything's right where it should be, but it should work. So we're going to select 507 as our stand. Ground.net, sure, why not? While I'm at it, think about low auto brake. Yeah, let's see here. Approach configuration is going to be a managed approach to a manual landing, low glide slope coupled ILS approach. Clear for the approach, we arm approach mode with a second autopilot. Anti-ice will be off for this arrival. Auto brake is low armed, and it'll be max reverse and config full, trying to make that Alpha Echo or Alpha Foxtrot exit. We'll probably have to switch to manual braking to increase the braking rate once we get a little closer in. Let me think. Beyond that, let's see here. Rad nav, we've got it auto tuning for the approach. Fuel prediction, again, we're showing 1.5 tons of extra fuel, so 44 minutes of extra gas if we need to do a go around. That's not a problem. We can definitely come back and do a second approach after a go around. Anything beyond 2 go arounds, we're going to have to start talking about whether we're going to divert to our alternate or try to stick with Rome. 3 good long runways in Rome, so it had to go pretty sideways for us not to land in Rome. And the weather's looking pretty good, but never say never. We got to have a contingency plan in place all the time. Secondary flight plan's got the ILS to runway 34 right programmed in. Now this arrival after right out is not the one we filed, but we have no ATC to issue us a different one. So if ATC comes online, we'll have to immediately ask them for a different arrival for landing north. Otherwise, we'll fly this one until we find out otherwise. We'll have to make calls on Unicom because there's no ATC online other than there is a... Nope, there's nobody now. The ground controller also logged off, as I suspected might happen. So we are now on our own at Rome. Oh well. C'est la vie. I don't know how you would say it in Italian. I assume it would be very similar. But anyways, okay. So we got no ATC left in Rome. We definitely have a bunch of flights in and out of Rome, so we're definitely going to have to communicate on the ATC frequency. At least I don't have to have a quick switch to ground. It's just going to be all coordinating on 22.8 when we get close in. That's all I got. The biggest threats, terrain. We'll definitely put terrain on. Doesn't look like there's too much weather between us and Rome, so I'm going to switch terrain on my side now. You can keep radar on your side. Yeah. I think terrain and the Unicom, also just unfamiliarity with the airport. I think we've got a pretty thorough briefing at this point, so I think we're about as ready as we're going to be from that perspective. I think we're good. Do you have any questions? Any questions?
No questions.
All right. Then we're good to go. All right. We got about 30 minutes to go here till we land in Rome. I can see the top of descent point scrolling into view here. I can even see the approach way out there at 160 miles. I can see the runway is only 120 miles away. So we are getting pretty close. We'll probably cut the corner a little bit when we get in there, depending on the traffic. Speaking of the traffic, that's actually one thing I got to do now. Looks like Buddy has already done it for us. He's already set the traffic to below. Wow, you are a good first officer. I take back everything I said about you behind your back. Okay, I can see the start of the right tab arrival there. So we are, I think we already passed Milano, did we not? I think we passed Milano a little while ago, but past the Olympics somewhere back there behind us. But we're getting into some warm Roman countryside here. Oh, it looks warm down there. I can't wait. I am so tired of winter this year. That was a long, cold stretch. I hibernate inside all winter long. I really do not do... And I ski. I like to ski, but I mean, again, schedules being what they are. My skiing partner is my daughter. She's in high school. She has no... She does not want to go out during the week because she always has homework. And then I'm never home on weekends. So skiing is something we're going to do a couple times a year, I think, because it's all the time we're going to fine for it, unfortunately. It's frustrating. Very frustrating. All right, but we're getting there. We're getting there pretty quickly now. We got 30 minutes to go. Everything's going well. We're tracking our flight. Everybody's happy. Pilot's life still knows where we are. It takes a minute to think about the map, but it does. No, I have to go with this one. Flight. That's what I have to click on. It knows where we are. It knows where we're going. We're getting close. Block time's up to 2 hours and 1 minute so far. Doing good. Doing good. 483 ground speed. Tracking all these things here. Flight report. It's only available with the flight post-flight stage. Oh, thank you. All right. Yeah, we are so close now. All right. Well, it's a lot better than we did last week. I was so disappointed when I had to go back to the gate because I'm like, I do not have time to restart this flight. I do not have time to reboot my sim and restart this flight. I just didn't. I knew I didn't as soon as it happened. I'm like, oh, I guess that's it. Go back to the gate and so be it. It's very, very frustrating though because you spend a lot of time just getting set up. There's nothing worse than like a sim crash too. I mean, this was not a sim crash. It was similar in that it was a thing that had to be reset. It was going to reset everything we'd done, but it's nothing worse than a sim crash, especially when you're like on final approach. You've done 95% of a flight. You've done all the prep work. You've taken off. You've climbed altitude, cruised, descended, and you're flying the approach, and then it crashes on approach. And I've had that happen before, and it's so frustrating because it's like, I just want closure to this flight. I did 95% of this flight. Just let me end this flight. But no, you don't get the satisfaction of landing and going to the gate. You get the sim crashes. I will say, like, and I knock on wood, this sim is pretty reliable. It doesn't crash too often. It does, I won't say it never crashes because it does crash from time to time. So never say never, but it's pretty good. It's pretty darn good. All right. We are approaching the top of descent point here. So I've got, let's go ahead and set 10,000, level 100. All right, so flight level 100 is set, and oh, you know what I never did? There's so much going on in transition. I never transitioned the standby altimeter. We had an ATC instruction. We had all sorts of stuff going on all at the same time, and that's distraction is such a terrible thing in this business. All right, we got about 10 miles to our top of descent point. I'm just going to start it down now. There is Mach descent, all blue. The Rome scenery certainly looked nice when I just checked it out. I checked it out. I always try to do like a little quick check before we fly to a place, but this is the first time I'm going to have landed in a Rome. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited. I think it's going to be pretty scenic too, so hopefully I'm going to get some good exterior shots here as well as we go down. Turn up my Unicom here. I just wonder, now here's an interesting pondering here. Now I wonder, is Europe going to start getting CTAFs anytime soon? I wonder, and I think they should. I think Europe needs it more than North America does it. I think the system is working well in North America. I would say about 75 to 80% of the pilots flying in North America when ATC is offline are on the correct CTAF frequency. 75 to 80%. There's still a 20-25% that are probably not, but the vast majority of people are on the CTAF frequencies. They're broadcasting appropriate traffic calls. I would say the CTAF trial worked really well. I think it's something, I think it needs to come to Europe though. I think it'll probably take a little bit of time to implement it because there's so many airports in Europe. There's so many controlled airports in Europe. There's going to be a lot of airports that need to be added to the AIP to get a CTAF frequency, but I think it is the future. I think it's working really well in North America, and I think Europe needs to do it because there's so many people flying in Europe, and everybody's just on Unicom 22.8. Everyone's broadcasting on 22.8, and that only works up to a point. We need a little bit more than that. So. I think the CTAF trial needs to be expanded to Europe. I would love to see it expand to Europe because 228 just gets entirely too crowded, especially when you got a couple of major airports near each other. Like you're in London and you've got Gatwick and you've got Heathrow and you've got people approaching both airports and they're both making calls in 22.8, and there's a lot of people because both airports are busy airports. Just adjusting my seat here because the last thing I wanted to do when I start rolling down the runway is for my seat to roll back and I can't even hit the rudder pedals anymore. Do not need that, thank you. All right, so we got to hit right tab at or below 210. Looks like it's planned at 210 on the money. Looks like it's pretty good for this descent here, I would say. All right, some clouds, but it overall looks like a really nice day. It looks like a really nice day down here. Our APU is still running just fine. It's just generating electricity, so it's not even running all that fast. It's putting out 23% of its rated capacity. Gen 2, that looks good. Electricals all look good. Fuel, let's see here, 4,200, we burned 5,400. That adds up to, yeah, 98-ish, so that's close enough. And 1360, there's a imbalance happening here. It's not unexpected given the APU's been running the whole flight, so it's very reasonable. We could transfer fuel, but we're well within limits, so I don't think we need to worry about it. All right. Slowing to 250 knots at 210 here. All right. I'm excited. I'm just happy that this is working out, and I'm excited to go somewhere new. I'm always excited to explore a new airport, and I have, yeah, I've been to many of these airports before. We kept on kind of seeing London a lot, unfortunately. So I'm hoping next season I think we're going to stay away from London. No more Heathrow. I think I saw it enough this season. I tried not to. And we only went there twice. We went there and back twice. So it's not like we saw it a lot, but that's enough. We definitely, we could explore other places. There's other places to explore. All right, I'm going to make sure my vPilot window is up here because Malpensa Tower. Nope. LIMC, LIMM. I'm assuming all these people are not around me here. No. LIMC is LIMM is Milano radar. So, yeah, my VATSIM radar is definitely showing nothing right now. So that's good. It's good. Okay, keep going. All right. We could actually do this just to make my life a little bit nicer. We could bring up the charts over here. Come on. Bring up the chart app. There's the arrival. Nicely done. Oops. I feel like my tablet could be brighter though. Charts. Alright, so we're just coming through right up. There's my little airplane on there and everything. Perfect. Love it. Alright, we did take the 250 knots restriction, more or less. Now we got to be above 10,000 for the next two restrictions here. Probably because there is some terrain down there. It's looking like a beautiful day out there, though. Nice. And it's good, again, that I've fast-forwarded my time by 3 hours, because it would be just about getting dark now if it wasn't. So, trying to be smart and fast-forward my time constantly. Speed. Looks like we've transitioned to indicated speed here, 250 knots. And then, yeah, eventually when we get down to these downwind waypoints, we're going to cut across some of them here. There's a guy who's trying to talk to ATC, but he keeps broadcasting on 22.8, and I'm not sure why. Because he's not going to find much ATC on 22.8, I'll tell you that. Yeah, well, whatever. Alright. I wonder... So I had those... no, that's not what I'm looking for. Any chance there is a live digital latest on Latest Guru? Haha. Today is the 12th. LRF, arrival information Yankee. Runway in use 34 right, 34 left. RCR, runway 34 right at 927.555. Wet. Oh, these are wet runways. Okay, well, that's fine. They're really long runways. Transition levels 8,000 today. Dependent parallel ILS approaches in progress. Is 34 right, 34 left is on my roam radar. Looks like beautiful visibility anyways. Alright. Looks like we've actually, I'm just going to reach down here and in my MCDU update these conditions here. So it's now 16 degrees. QNH is now 986. And the winds are, let's see here, for 34 left, 060 at 4.
1013 set passing 17,800.
You're terrible at this, by the way. Yeah, we're not transitioning till 8,000, so get over yourself. Okay. Yeah, looks like on the CTAF has gone really well. Yes, thank you. I agree, 100%. I think I was a little skeptical at first. I was a little skeptical that people would find the right frequencies and beyond them, and it took a little while, I think. It took a little while to really kind of get people totally on board with it, but now that people are on board with it, it functions very well. The days I leave Toronto in a busy afternoon or evening or arrive, and everyone's on Unicom and everyone's coordinating, and that's exactly the way it should be. There's lots of communication, lots of work. Hey, I see you on final, I'll fall in behind you. We're going to fly behind this guy on final. It definitely works well. CTAF was a good invention. That was a good policy change. The 16-year-old policy change, I don't know. I mean, there's something to be said for it, but do I really want to start this rant now about the age gating of Discord now? Because this is going to become a real problem too on so many organizations, especially like VATSIM-related organizations, rely on Discord, and now Discord is going to start requiring age verification for everybody. And frankly, they have zero trust for age verification. I will not be uploading any form of age verification to basically any company at this juncture because nobody has established any trust in this market. And it's not one of those trust me, it'll be fine kind of things. It's like, no. If I give you that information once, I never get it back. I can't take it back, and you will lose it at some point. Everybody will. So yeah, Discord is like a non-starter. So this is going to become a problem, I think, for VATSIM, is that Discord is going to become, they're going to have to be very careful to make sure that all of their Discord servers that all the various VATSIM organizations use remain teen accessible. Because, yeah, as far as I'm concerned, age verification is a non-starter on Discord. They have no trust on the issue. They have zero trust. And I certainly, and I think I speak for a lot of people. I'm not necessarily a majority, but there is a very large group of people who are like, no, to heck with this, uploading your ID to websites just to prove you're an adult. Because unlike when you get like an age check when you go to buy beer at the liquor store or whatever, you flash at the person and they see it, and then it is forgotten 10 seconds later. Nothing you do digitally is ever really truly forgotten, no matter how much they claim it will be. The second that's uploaded, it's now permanently associated with you. And all this age gating of the internet is a cheap and easy way for all these companies to do it. It's not very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not, again, you're just like, you're hitting a tiny nail with a sledgehammer. Like it is a problem. There is an issue with content being available to kids too easily, but requiring all of us to prove that, to upload IDs, to sacrifice our privacy, our personal privacy, and our ability to look at things on the internet without everyone knowing who we are. And I think maybe, and yeah, sometimes that privacy ship sailed like 15 years ago, but I'd like to think that I try to maintain a bit of anonymity on the internet. Yes, there are parts of me, and here I am broadcasting, and this is my choice. This is a choice. I choose to broadcast my image. I choose to broadcast my voice, my opinions on this platform, but I make that choice consciously to do that. But most of my visiting and surfing the internet happens anonymously, and I do rely on various tools to do that now. I do use a VPN periodically. It's not very good for anonymizing. Depends on what you're trying to do. I use the VPN when I travel to get back into the home country and be able to do things like banking securely from insecure Wi-Fi. That's what I usually use my VPN for. But I started using the Brave browser, and it's amazing how much stuff that blocks out. It just blows your mind when you look at how many things are tracking you. How much TikTok is tracking you is almost as much as Facebook now across so many websites. Yeah, like the number of trackers that are running on these sites that these web browsers are starting to block. It blows your mind. I think I went on to, what did I pick? I think I picked Google News or something like that to go see something, to go search for something, and it instantly blocked like 217 trackers. And I'm like, 217 trackers on one website? Like, I know it's Google, so it's like the mother of all trackers to begin with, but like, it's just like, what the heck, man? Then you go to other ones where there's like 2 trackers that are blocked, and that's it. It's like, I don't even mind allowing 2 trackers to track me almost, because like it's so relatively little, but just like 217 trackers are tracking you when you read a page on Google. It's like it's insane, the tracking. So, but I try to. I even use the Tor browser when I want to search for certain things. I try to use the Tor browser because sometimes I just don't want a browsing history of what I've searched for, because I don't want to see 1,000 ads for that thing that I searched for. I don't want to see 1,001 ads. When I was trying to search for information about buying a new car and the cars I was interested in, I tried to. Okay, we're gonna do 6,000 here. 6,000 thrust idle open descent all blue. When I was trying to search for information about new cars, I always tried to do it in the Tor browser because I did not want to get ads from car companies. That's so annoying. There's 1,000 ads from car companies, and they're all trying to sell you a car. And I get it, they're trying to sell you a car, but like I want to be able to read information anonymously and research cars anonymously without having people trying to sell me something. I'm going to miss the high-pitched voices. Yeah, how about 6.7? You going to miss 6.7? I'm not going to miss 6.7 at all. But the thing is, it's not, again, and VATSIM's falling for the same thing because it's an easy fix to a complex problem. It doesn't necessarily, age is no more a correlation to maturity than hours in the logbook is a correlation to pilot skill. It's the best marker we have, maybe, but it's really not a good marker. Yeah, come on, you know you want to add your person. I don't think I've even linked most of my Discord, most of my VATCAN Discords yet. That's how little information I'm sharing there. Pardon me. But, yeah, age is not necessarily an indicator of maturity, and I definitely think there were some discussions about, like, can we have, like, exceptions to VATSIM's age policy for, with parental permission? Can people make that choice to submit parental information and have a parent account linked to a child account, and and make them responsible for that child? But then can we have people 13 to 16 on the network if they're vouched for by a parent? Because there are plenty of people who want to use this network for good purposes, just to improve their abilities, their skills as a pilot, to communicate with air traffic controllers and everything. So I find it, like, it's not. Yes, there will always be immature, but there are immature 40-year-olds on this network. So age alone does not make it a good indicator of maturity. Yes, I understand there's a lot of liability, too, for having kids on the network. So I get that, because it's an open mic. Anyone can say anything they want. We try to police it, but we often, it's policed after the fact, right? Like, it's not like before the broadcast happens, someone listens to it and makes sure that everything that's said on frequency is okay. It happens in real time, and then it's policed after the fact. If you say something bad, we're going to kick you out of the network eventually, but the kids will have already hit it. So, there's some traffic happening down here, too. There's some serious traffic conflicts happening down here. Oh, shoot. We'll just fall in behind these guys. All right. 10,000. Lights are on, seatbelts are on, good. I think there's some merit to that, because there's a lot of good things that happen on this network. There's a lot of people that I've met that were teenagers when they joined this network, young teenagers, that maybe were a bit immature, but we taught them to be mature. They learned to be mature on this network, and they were never immature to the point where they were disruptive to other people by any means. They were maybe not the most mature people, but they evolved, and they became good members of this network. So, and I think a lot of people know that age is not a sole indicator of maturity. It just isn't. There's so much more that can indicate maturity. So, anywho, there is some serious traffic conflicts happening over here on final. We're just going to stay back from that. Just going to stay back from that one. All right. Transition level, QNH 986.
Turkish 10 Victor, Roma traffic, 15 miles final 34 left.
All right, so one of them's on final for 34 left. It's a good thing we're kind of just slowly drifting down to 220 knots here. We'll be able to fall in behind these guys.
Turkish 50 Victor, can you reduce speed to minimum approach speed, please? We are 14 miles from the 3 for the left.
We're just going to fall in behind all this traffic here today.
Shortcut or something because you kind of appear from nowhere.
Okay, let's just be nice, guys. Let's just play nice.
Turkish 50 Victor, reducing to minimal approach speed. Aircraft ahead, please keep your.
There we go. So I was trying to get rid of me, not the airplane.
34 left road traffic.
All right, so we're going to fall in behind the traffic at 15 final there, but I think we can still cut over early. So there's 6,000 now. Speed alt star.
Sì ragazzi, ma in Unicom non possiamo fare shortcut perché sennò si crea un casino, eh?
Yes, indeed. Okay.
Firme traffic at arrow 20907, 14 miles, localizer 3, correction 34 right.
All right, so he's almost 10 miles over there, so fine.
Turkish 50 Victor, establish on the localizer for 34 left.
If I turn inbound now, that should not be a problem. So 34, that should be about a 250 heading for a base leg. I'll leave those waypoints on there for now. Oh, don't accelerate though, you silly airplane. 220 knots selected. Let's go down to 4,000. 4,000 feet set for saddle open set all blue. LS buttons up.
Traffic with Malta 7 Eagle Whiskey, full established, LS runway 34 right, 45.
Fima Juno traffic, Scandinavian 691 is turning a 20-mile right base for the ILS runway 34 left. Alright, so there's traffic out there, 2,000 below me at probably at about a 15-mile final, so we should easily be able to stay behind them. Alright, how are we doing temperature-wise? TAP plus 9. Yeah, no, I think we're below all the clouds now. We can go ahead and kill the anti-ice. Alright. Almost there. We're definitely going to try and keep about a 5-mile spacing behind this guy. I think we could probably turn in now to a heading of 310 for a 30-degree intercept. Heading is 310 heading. And we'll go direct to, what is it? Nipsa. Nipsa. Radial in of 122. I'm not sure if that's correct here. It's 159. Alright, nav blue, nav disarmed. And we're going to go ahead and arm. Loc and glide slope blue. CAD 3 dual, autopilot 1 and 2, alt star 4,000 feet. I've got the speed now back to 210. And I think we're going to have to continue slowing. Oh, this guy's on the right side anyways, actually, so it's fine. We'll be fine because he's on the right side. I see them out there. Busy airport here. Looks like we're going to intercept the localizer just in time to start down on the glide slope. Beautiful. Perfect. Everything is working out well. Love it.
Turkish 50 Victor, fully established 34 left.
Alt.
7.5 mile final for resident traffic.
Approach checklist.
Barreau rest.
986 set.
986 set seat belts.
On.
Minimum.
214 feet set.
Auto brake.
Low armed.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
Alright, I see the runway out there now. Definitely some airplanes on approach, but we're doing it.
Air France 27 Charlie Echo est en fait à lettre on a 34 right.
traffic is there. It's Christian 578, Takeoff 25, the 11th, the Golf, and Bravo.
Lokestar. Fema Juno traffic, Scandinavian 691, established 15 miles final, runway 34 left. Loke.
Fema Juno traffic at 20907, 4 miles final at 34 right.
Alright, temperature's okay, don't need
Fema Juno
to
traffic, 0 Victor, 5 mile final, 34 left.
Alright, these guys are all making their calls. It's working. But it'd be better if this was a discrete frequency just for each airport, though. Alright, we're supposed to be 180 knots at 8 miles final. Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Alright, window status. Alright. Glide slope star. Missed approach altitude. 3,000 feet set. Roger, 3,000. Definitely a few airplanes out there today. Good stuff. So where is Rome relative to this airport? Is it over here? Did we already pass it? Or is it up there? I don't even know. It looks like it's definitely mostly countryside here near the airport anyways. Glide slope. Alright, let's go 180 for the 8 DME mark. Take some screenshots. I realized I forgot to took myself off the screen here. That's okay. Just take a couple of nice screenshots here so that everybody can see. So I got something for my title cards, all I'm looking for here. Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Alright, I'm going to put myself back on the screen so you guys can all watch me squirm when we're on final here. Alright, speed's coming back to 180. It's a little bit high, but maybe a little speed brake to help her out here.
Fema Juno traffic. Lufthansa 9 Yankee, holding short November Golf. Air Italia, you can go first.
Thank you, sir.
Alright, I guess radio altimeter is alive. Is that Rome over there? Oh, is that Rome over there? Is that like the Vatican in the distance? You can see the points of interest.
Alright,
gear down, landing check.
Gear down.
Speed 160 selected for 4 DME. Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Fema Juno traffic, Scandinavian 691, 4 miles final, 34 left. There's 4 miles.
And,
Flaps full.
Fema Juno traffic, Turkish 10 Victor vacated 34 left.
Full.
Landing checklist.
Nebo.
That's Scandinavian on final.
Landing no blue. Scandinavian 691, 3 miles final for 34 left.
1,000.
1,000. It's RSI 78, landing up to 25, burn.
Alright. Maybe a couple more exterior shots really quickly here. Hey, ooh, look at that. Yeah, I keep doing the wrong one there. Alright, back to paying attention. Stable. Autopilot's off. Cat 1.
100 above.
100 above.
Roger. Land.
Sink rate. Minimum.
Minimum.
Continue. Yeah, what happened to the airplane there?
Alpha 2730, Echo, my traffic. 8 miles from Demi on a 348.
50, 40, 30, 20. Retard. 5.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Diesel.
Alright, manual brakes.
$70 knots.
There we go. We did make Alpha Echo. It did need a lot of brakes, but we made it.
Alright, traffic at ISI 78, the Boeing runway 25, it's the exit 05 Alpha departure run.
Fiumicino traffic, Scandinavian 691 clear, 34 left. I'm waiting for him to accidentally shut off the APU when he tries to start it. No, it's not gonna do it. After landing checklist.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelts fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is parked safely at the gate. This will be your indication it is safe.
After cancel checklist.
Traffic at RFI 78, tempo on altitude runway 25, passing 3700
Cancel checklist.
Roger.
After landing checklist.
Radar and predictive wind shear system.
Off.
After landing checklist complete.
Perfect. Okay, I see you. Thank you, Uncle Wiki. Rome is just east of the airport. Yes, I've never been here before. I would love to go visit Rome one day. That is another place I'd love to visit, but I've never been here, so very unfamiliar with this part of the world. So maybe we should have our taxi chart, since I keep saying I'm unfamiliar. I think I know roughly where we're going anyways. If we had a ground controller, they could help me out here. There we go. Yeah, see, we're coming up. It's a beautiful looking airport. So we're coming up to the next one here. So let's go parking stands, which won't, I don't think we'll have my moving map, but will help kind of tell me what I'm doing here. So we are on this inner taxiway here. So as soon as we've gone around the corner, it's a right turn and then a left turn for 507. That's 507 right over there. All right. And there's still airplanes taking off and landing everywhere. It's actually quite a busy little airport today on VATSIM, even without any ATC. I guess there was ATC earlier, which probably is also what lures people in, right? You see a controller there, and I fell for it last night, too. I did some controlling last night, and I kept on saying I'm going to log off at midnight, and then there's like one guy on approach. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just get him down. There's one guy who just calls up for the pushback. I'm like, well, I'll just get him airborne, and I think it was about 12. It was either 12:15 or 12:20 by the time I actually logged off, because I'm always just like, oh, well, I'll just do this guy and this guy and this guy, and then before you know it, you've been going for way too long. Didn't mean to stop completely there. Sometimes without peripheral vision, you don't realize how much peripheral vision contributes to your awareness of how much you're moving until you lose it. Okay. Parking brake. So accumulator is good. The weather radar is off. The engine anti-ice is off. Just the lights to go. We'll get the runway turn-off light here. There's Charlie Foxtrot. So it's the first, not the gate on the corner on the diagonal, but the first, like, perpendicular gate. I do see a marshaller there, so we'll go ahead and go taxi light off. And we are just about there. All right, welcome to 507. We're only a 320, so we don't have to do that much work here to get this thing lined up, especially with a nice long gate to get into like this. It's a little weird flashing happening on all the glass there. Seems to have gone away now. What happened to my marshaller? I swear I saw a marshaller. Or is it just VGDS? Yeah, A320, yeah, it's just a working VGDS. Who would have thought a working VGDS? Wow, it's actually really quite good too, I gotta say. All right, nice. All right, park and brake. All right, APU's available, engines off. Thank you. Complain, complain, complain. I parked a bit too far, so be it. Sometimes it activates the jetway, sometimes it doesn't. Here it comes now. Don't hit the second bridge. No, I think you're using the wrong bridge, buddy. Oh, just look the other way. Pretend like it's not happening. Parking checklist. Parking checklist.
Parking brake or shocks.
Set.
Engines.
Off.
Wing lights.
Off.
Fuel pumps.
Off.
Parking checklist complete.
All right. Cabin doors open. We can open that up. We can watch people get out. Oh, nope. GSX seems to have... Oh, there they are. They're invisible until a certain point. All right, I'm going to remove that because nobody needs to hear that anymore because we have made it. Hooray! After last week's rousing failure, I'm happy to have a little success in my cap today. So yay, we made it. Let's go ahead and go to the external views here. There we go. And GSX just seems to have given up, I think. I don't know what happened. And I find that the GSX has become a little bit more temperamental lately, and I don't know why. With the deboarding end. Usually the boarding end is fine. But the deboarding end, I don't know if it's the Fenix integration that is giving it pause, but it is a constant issue now. Now here comes all the equipment. But yeah, it's become a very constant issue now. It's become more and more frustrating. But here they come now to come and unload everything. So there we go. So we are done. So thank you guys so much for watching with us. Let's see what we've got here now. But don't forget to hit submit because it'd be pointless to do this whole flight and then not submit it. So there it is. Submitted. Thinking about it. Your flight has been submitted. Great. Another one for the logbook. And another couple of hours of pay for my pilot's life. It happens, slowly but surely. It happens. So we have one more flight left to do now. That's Rome Fiumicino up to Oslo Gardermoen. That's going to be a couple weeks from now. Probably not next week because I think I got a lot of stuff to do next week, but maybe the week after. We'll see how it works out. I've always got an excuse. That's me. Always got an excuse. But yeah, I'm going to be a little bit richer. Got another couple points for the logbook, another 100 experience points or so. My other flight tracker is not shutting down for some reason. Seems to have frozen on me here, so whatever. Yeah, the software is completely frozen on it. But anyways, oh, look at that. 100 points. A perfect score today for that flight. Because I thought that was a pretty nice touchdown. At first, it was coming down a little fast. There was a little glide slope sync on final. Recovered that nicely. We got a nice touchdown right there. Do we have it here? Landing rate 282, but very nice. I got a full landing rate 5 out of 5 score, because that's often one that gets me. I find this sim is a little bit hard to land, even if you know the sim, know the airplane. The sim it's close. But I think it's partly just that lack of peripheral vision. You just have the screen in front of you. You have a very narrow vision that's showing you what you need to learn, or the information you need to take in to land an airplane. And really, all of this over here helps too. That peripheral out the side windows, that helps with your judgment of how high you are above the ground. So anyways. I find it still challenging to land the sim. I think I've gotten better at it, and I don't think it was me. I think it was the update helped. I think the big update number 2 helped a lot with making it a little bit, making this airplane a little bit easier to land. But there we go, a perfect score. I haven't had a perfect score since we did Copenhagen down to Munich. I don't even remember going to. Oh yes, I do remember going to Munich. I went to Munich. I haven't had too many perfect scores this month. I had a lot very close. But not too many perfect scores this month, so looking good. I'll add some experience points here. Still got like thousands of experience points to go to my next promotion. I got to earn another 3,800 something points. So that's another 38 flights. I'm not getting another promotion for another couple of seasons, but nevertheless, I'm still enjoying it. So we will keep this up. Maybe we'll get that promotion eventually because I'm enjoying these seasons. That was fun. That was actually a lot of fun, and Rome seemed like a really fun airport, nice and busy, but it worked out very well in the end. So I'm happy that it worked out really well. It's been a really good flight, and just nice to have a chat with you guys again too. And boom, into the bus, and compatible scenery. Nice to have a chat with you guys again. It's been a while, and I do appreciate you guys tuning in. To the channel, to the Twitch streams, and everything else. And I can even see the passengers getting off in that jet bridge. Isn't that neat? Wrong way. I feel like it's backwards for some reason. I want to just see the passengers. See the passengers. There they go, going up the jet bridge. The 2 collided jet bridges. Should have brought this jet bridge over. Why'd you bring the farther one? Anyways. Sometimes when you flight sim, you must just suspend your disbelief because it's a fantastic model of the world, but it ain't perfect. It ain't perfect. I don't think it's possible to make it perfect. So kudos to everyone who does make it look as good as it does. And I think that's all for me for today. I'm getting a little hungry. Time to go have some lunch. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I'll see you guys out there on the VATSIM network. I think I'll probably be doing some controlling this weekend. So hopefully I'll see you guys all out in the friendly skies. In the meantime, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody.